Alright, so we're pretty much just going to be killing all of the EverQuest gods here today. At least all of them that I can get to. So I figured we're going to start with some of the lower tier stuff first. We can kill some of the tier 1 gods, things like that. We will also be going back to revisit some of the classic EverQuest gods, like Terris-Thule, Anarok, some of the gods like that. But we're also going to be taking down pretty much all of the planar gods. And then I guess we'll just go from there. But at this point, we can do pretty much anything that we want to. We have a full group of people here. We got all our characters logged in, so we can grab any instance that we really want to. So probably going to kill Terris-Thule first. We're going to start with the tier 1 stuff. But yeah, Terris-Thule, Burtox. God, I'm just completely drawing a blank on some of the other gods. But we're gonna hit all the way up through Plane of Time, at least as far as the gods. That means like the elemental planes, stuff like that. So we'll start with some of the easier stuff first, and then we'll just go up from there. Some of the loot I want to set aside for my Shadow Knight that I've been leveling as well, once he hits 65. God, this zone is incredibly dark. Here we go. Let's grab our little instance here. For those who don't know, on the EverQuest live servers now, you can grab instanced of pretty much instance versions of any of the original EverQuest zones. That was something they added from some of the time lock progression servers. So you can just load up any instance of any zone that you want, and you don't have to worry about fighting other people for those enemies. It's pretty good. It's cool, so you can actually see some of the content you would normally never be able to see. Alright, we're teleporting in now. So this is going to be like the lowest tier of the gods first, Terris-Thule. I think she's even easier than some of the classic EverQuest gods. We just got a little bit of a run to get there. Got this huge swirl zone all the way back here to Terris-Thule. I think she's like level 67, 68, maybe level 70. Even with her being level 70, she's definitely easier than even some of the Valius bosses that you'll fight. But yeah, this is one of the many lockouts I would normally hit on a weekly basis, just so I can get as much loot as possible. All of this stuff here is droppable, so any alternate characters I make, I can move over the equipment to one of them if I want to use it. So like my Shadow Knight that I've been leveling, which I got to level 50 this morning, I can start moving that stuff over to him if I want to use it. All right, here we go. So here is Terris-Thule. Yeah, she's level 70. It's cool because she still can't see Shroud of Stealth, so we can get right up next to her. Normally, there is kind of an event that goes along with this fight that spawns these gargoyles up here where they would normally end up attacking you, kind of based off of percentage that you get Terris-Thule down to. But she's going to die so quick that that's not really a problem. So, like I said, for reference, she's level 70, so she's a gray con. So, let's just show you how easy this is. Yeah. Yep. So, hide corpse off. This is Terris-Thule's corpse. She died in pretty much 2 hits. Which isn't bad. Where is my loot window? There we go. So she dropped a cloak and a mask. Yeah, so that's level 55 stuff. So you're going to see better stuff and even Shadows of Lucklin content. So it's not the best, but it's still cool to hit sometimes. Not bad for a single hit. So that is it for Terris-Thule, at least. Now we're going to pop ourselves out to... Probably going to go back to Plane of Tranquility. And then we can start beating up Bertox as well. For reference, pretty much any of the gods that we fight from tier 1, probably all the way up to the tier 6 stuff, fighting Quarm, pretty much all of them usually die in a single hit. Some of them take a little bit longer, but if I get like a lucky assassinate, we'll hit it and it usually dies pretty much immediately. But yeah, for sure, we're going to hit some of the elemental gods, at least Plane of Earth, B, and Plane of Fire. And like I said, we're for sure going to hit the old school classic EverQuest bosses too. We'll hit Khazad-Thule, Anarok. I'm not going to waste our time with like Finnegal Atropos and stuff like that. We're probably actually gonna, I kind of want to hit Bertox, but it's a really long event. It takes like 30 minutes to do it. So let's actually go kill, Saryrn first. we'll for sure hit, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll for sure hit like the Valius bosses, like Avatar of War, Temple of Veeshan, stuff like that. We'll hit those bosses. Yeah, like Avatar of War, Temple of Veeshan, we'll hit those bosses because they always drop the best loot, at least for Twinks. So we're making our way to Saryrn now. This is in the Plane of Torment. And the good news is we don't have to kill anything to get to her. We can literally just walk right up to her. The glory of being a rogue, where we can Shroud of Stealth past everything. Normally this requires a key, but since we've already done this, we already have the key. Got some of these old school bosses. I say old school, but I know a lot of people aren't accustomed to Planes of Power content in the first place. So any of you P99ers that are used to just like classic Punarch and Valius content, we'll definitely kill those bosses too. So we'll go through and we'll fight, you know, Lord Nagafin, Lady Vox, stuff like that, just because why not? They're very nostalgic, so there's no reason not to kill those bosses. And maybe I'll get a Cloak of Flames. I'll be happy with that. Hey, thanks for the follow, Jazam. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. All right. So this is another level 70 god. This one normally also has an event here with her bird Sorrow Song. Normally based off the damage that you're doing to her, eventually her bird would activate and she's like another mini boss to go with the fight. But what you'll see here is she's going to die just like Terris-Thule. Probably just die in a single hit. If anybody wants to take a guess of how hard we're going to hit her, you can see right down here at this box, the green numbers, that's how hard I hit. And in this case, we hit her, looks like 3 times, 270,000, 415,000, about 155,000. So we got a nice little triple backstab for her. And she dropped, okay, 2 of the same earring, which used to be pretty good back in the day with the Burning Affliction on it. But as you can see from the stats here, that's still not even really up to par for Valius content. It's just the effect itself that's pretty good. So this is just a level 2 boss, tier 2 boss, I should say. So we're not even to the good gods yet. So we're going to make our way back down. So we've killed Terris-Thule now and Saryrn. I guess it doesn't really matter if we do anything out of order. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. We're still going to kill, like Mithaniel Marr. We'll kill him for sure. He doesn't really drop anything worthwhile for us. Like, the best item he drops, in my opinion, is a druid sword. It's a scimitar for druids. And I'll have literally no use for it, but here we go, this way. This is, I would say like Plane of Torment and Plane of Nightmare B are both probably two of the shortest zones to get to the respective gods. Like I said, I wouldn't mind killing Burtox, but he just takes forever to spawn because he's a whole ring event. He spawns like in a little maze, and you'll have to hop from like group of enemies to group of enemies, and it takes like 25 minutes. It's sadly a time-gated event, so it just takes forever regardless of what level you are. So we're just going to go ahead and hop out of here. And Grumus and Plane of Disease, we're not going to worry about him because he's not even a god. He's basically just a little gateway god. We're going to go ahead and hop over to... Ooh, let's go kill Rallos Zek, actually. We've got Rallos Zek, Rallos Ro, and Mithaniel Marr all in the same little area that we can fight and kill. So we're going to start with Rallos Zek then, because Rallos Ro is like the final boss before you get to the elemental planes, so we'll just kind of fight them, I guess, in kind of order. So yeah, we'll just go Rallos Zek, Mithaniel Marr, and then Rallos Ro. And then we're going to take a short break from the planar gods, and then we're going to go fight the old school classic gods like Terris-Thule and Anarok. I want to kill all the regular versions of these gods before we fight them in the Plane of Time version, because that's like the strongest version that we'll face for a lot of these guys. And for anybody who is just joining that doesn't know or understand, this is live EverQuest. This is the highest level you can currently be, which is level 120. This is not like an emulated version of EverQuest. It is pretty much, current endgame EverQuest. I have most of the best loot that you can get from the last expansion, which was Terror of Lucklin. So we have about 516,000 hit points. It's all pretty insane compared to anything you might be used to if you're used to like Kunark and Valius version of EverQuest. So for this event here for Rallos Zek, we pretty much need to kill everybody in this hallway. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to clear out this entire hallway of people. Then there's a couple guards that we'll need to kill. And then we're going to have to kill Talon and Valen Zek. And after we've killed Talon and Valen Zek, we can fight Rallos Zek. And also for reference, on this music playlist, this is the first time I've ever listened to this. So it sounds like it's kind of some rebooted versions of the EverQuest songs. So if you hear something that sounds like an abomination, I'm just going to skip past it. I'm not used to these songs yet, so... I do like when I have this the classic EverQuest models on. Some of these enemies have the classic look and some of them have the new look. It's kind of strange. Oh, not the bot. The botter's always got to come in. Wouldn't be a Twitch stream without a bot coming in to sell something. Ooh. Okay, we got the text here, so the event is active for Rallos Zek. Can open up this door now. We're going to clear these guys out. Here, any second now, we should get Talon and Valen Zek running up from the hallways here to save their buddy Rallos Zek. Or I guess I should say their dad, Rallos Zek. Yeah, normally in this zone, you have to fight Talon and Valen Zek twice. You normally fight them in their respective north and south wings here on the map, but then you'll also fight them again here in the Rallos Zek event, because they'll come running up here. We should see them here in just a second. I think it's kind of cool because normally in most EverQuest old school zones, the enemies would just spawn, but in this case, they actually just come like running up. He died in a single hit. That was Valen Zek. Now we got Talon Zek, who's running up now too. Come on, buddy. Oh, he's trying to dispel me and hit me with everything he can. Oh, he actually took more than one hit. Look at that. It's kind of rude, though, dispelling me like that. Anyways, so we're going to fight Rallos Zek right here. He's level 75. This is only a tiny version of Rallos Zek. I currently play on Rallos Ro. Was this... I'm not sure what you mean. Are you saying you were considering starting a character on Firiona V? Thinking of. Gotcha. I mean, if you start a character on Firiona V, there are a lot of really friendly people here that would be willing to, you know, let you either join their guild or give you loot to help you start. Because everything here is droppable on Firiona V, so people giving you Twink stuff really isn't that uncommon. And there are some guilds here that are incredibly friendly to new players. Or not new players, but like new to the server players. So, if you want to do it, I'd recommend it. Firiona V is probably the most populated server you're going to find right now. Alright, and this is Rallos Zek, level 75. This is like the true version of him in his own plane. This is like, I guess, the more buff version of Avatar of War. Nice. And we killed him in a single hit. Not bad at all. Nice, let's see what he dropped. Oh, he dropped the Blade of War. Nice. Not bad at all. This Blade of War, though, so good. Such a good two-hander for level 60 characters, or 61. So on Firiona V, there's no worry about no drop and no trade loot. No, not at all. There are very rarely items that you're going to come across on Firiona V that are no drop. The only exceptions to that rule normally are very specific quest items or epics. Of course, the epics are no drop. So like the epic 1.0, 2.0, and 2.5, they're all no drop. There aren't many items on this server that are no drop. The only exception I can think of, right off the top of my head, is like this mask here for the Ifriti Death Visage. It's a mask that turns you into a specter. It's one of the later expansion items. It's no drop because it's a long quest line. But yeah, like the epics and stuff are no drop as well. Otherwise, like all of the high-end game stuff that you come across, like all the top-end raid gear, it's all droppable. So like even though I don't raid, and I haven't raided in a really long time, I can still get the current end-game loot. It's just very expensive. So nice, we got Blade of War. That's pretty much exactly what I wanted here. It's a really good two-hander with the cool graphic. But no, I will always recommend Firiona V to anybody who wants to return to the game or wants to try a new server, strictly just because it's got a natural experience bonus. All the stuff is droppable except for the stuff that I just mentioned, and it's very, very populated. There are some guilds on this server that have like 500 to 1,000 active people on a regular basis, and they give away loot all the time. Like one guild here has like raffles that they'll do like once a month or so, where they're giving out like chrono, they're giving out top end items. Sorry if you're hearing that beeping, that's my phone. But yeah, Firiona V is very, very populated. There's tons of people here. And there's not really any reason to be shy here. I would say in general, people here are very nice. There are some toxic people, but that's just EverQuest in general. For the most part, some guilds here like will go out of their way to find new people to bring them back in. Kind of give you a home to come to. Okay, so we've killed Terris-Thule, Saryrn, and Rallos Zek. Now we're going to go kill Mithaniel Marr. And then after Mithaniel Marr, we're going to hit Rallos Ro. On Drizzle Roll, my warrior is 120, tier 3. Bearer of Luckland Geared. Very nice. Very, very nice. I mean, if you're considering it, you can always move your character to Firiona V. You just have to understand that any character that is moved to Firiona V cannot be removed from Firiona V. Because of the special loot rules and everything like that we have here, any character that moves to this server cannot be changed to a different server. So unless you're attached, like if you're attached to a guild or people and on your server, then you might just want to start fresh on this server. I've heard from several different people that their current servers their population's been kind of dwindling. So I've seen quite a few people moving to Firiona V. Hey, thanks for the follow, Dual Nature. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I would just start a new character. I'm good with the guild and group and raid. And Pixel with the follow. Thank you. Thank you both. So yeah, a fresh start on Firiona V would not be difficult for you then. And plus, like I said, with the natural experience bonus that we have here, you're going to level fast. I would say in general, if I am like committed, I can bring a character from probably like 1 to 75 in a single day. If you pop like an experience potion and you grind it out, you can probably go from 1 to 75 in a single day now. The true leveling experience is like the hardest leveling experience in my opinion is like level 110 to 115. Like even 115 to 120 isn't as bad as 110 to 115 for some reason. I don't know what they were thinking, making it so difficult to level from there, but it's pretty frustrating. Those dicks completely debuffed me, removed half my buffs. That is the one thing that will never change. Yeah, that 110 to 115 grind was just draining. It was ridiculous. I don't know why they decided to make it so difficult from like 110 to 115, but I'm glad they pulled it back from 115 to 120. I feel like the 110 to 115 grind was probably like 180 hours of grinding or something like that, of just straight up grinding. All right. So Mithaniel Marr has this guy right here that is kind of a gatekeeper. We have to kill this guy before we can even target him. So I was thinking of making a tune on Firiona V because I have an 85 heroic slot available. I just don't know why, but in times past when I tried to play heroic 2 in the tutorial, mobs in the Firiona just pile drive me. Yeah, they really didn't do a good job of implementing the tutorial experience at level 85, because number one, if you're not used to anything past level 60 in EverQuest, 85 feels like a different game, because the number of abilities that you have and things like that. It was meant to get you hooked on the game just long enough for you have to buy chrono and to buy loot to make your 85 character actually viable. Because level 85, especially even with the mercenary, you're not going to be good enough to be able to do the content at level 85. Does that make sense? That's why I actually encourage a lot of people now, whenever they're talking about making a character, instead of doing an 85, I would typically recommend picking a character and leveling it from like 1 to 60 yourself so you get a general idea of it, and then looking up a guide for what level 85 is like. Or if you're really interested in trying something, maybe I'm dead set on playing Rogue. Well, number one, good choice. I'm obviously biased, but at level 85, you can do a lot of fun stuff with the Rogue. So, but typically, when I'm talking to people and telling them, like, if they're interested in trying the game, I would typically say, if you do want to make a heroic character on Firiona V, make sure, like, one of the first things I'd recommend doing is, number one, probably starting on a weekend when we have the most people online, and number two, asking to, like, join a guild. Because you'll probably, if you join a guild with other people, they'll probably be willing to make characters or to help you level. Because would you want to go back 2 or 3 expansions to solo as a rogue? You would want, yeah, you would want to go back 2 or 3 expansions to solo as a rogue. Yeah, 100%. So 85 is what? I think that's House of Thule content. So if you went back to like level 75 content, like the Buried Sea content or the Serpent Spine, and use the gear from there. Yeah, if you use the heroic gear that you start with, you can do anything that's like 3 expansions back for the most part. Especially if you're using a journeyman tier mercenary, you'll be fine. Alright, let's see here. So, let's go ahead and beat this guy up. Yeah, I'll recommend Rogue to almost anybody, especially if you want to have fun like this. And I'll tell you the same thing that, well, I'll tell you what people, sadly, I didn't know about until much later. But rogues, you know, back in the day, everyone always said rogues need to use like 1 piercing weapon and 1 offhand weapon that's not a piercer. That is true up until a certain point in EverQuest, but now rogues always want to use 2 daggers. Because we have abilities that make our piercing damage improved so much that we do better damage with 2 piercers than we do with a piercing weapon and an offhand sword or hammer, something like that. So rogues are definitely much better off with 2 piercing weapons. Yeah, rogues definitely needed that for sure. Because that was always like the whole point, in my opinion, is rogues were always known for using piercing weapons. So the fact that it took them so long to give us abilities that improved our piercing damage, like this little familiar that I have right here as well, this guy improves my piercing damage as well. Alright. Got Mr. Mithaniel Marr here. Probably one of the only good guy gods that we'll fight in this expansion. I guess the 7th hammer is also like a neutral god, but for the most part, all the gods that you fight in this expansion are evil. Oh, he took more than a couple hits. So he dropped 2 cloaks, 2 of the same cloak, which don't really do us much good. The only thing that sucks is I have 26 expansions, gotta get up to date. Yeah. EverQuest can be a very daunting experience if you try to hop in and you don't really have anybody to talk to about it. Because, yeah, there's a lot. EverQuest with the 27 or so expansions or 28 expansions that are out now is a very different experience than like Kunark and Valius. Because a lot of us are used to having maybe 1 or 2 abilities that we use. All of these abilities that you see on my hotbar here are abilities I use on a regular basis in the in-game content. Like all 25 some odd abilities here are abilities I use on a very regular basis. It's not the same just click and auto attack game that it used to be. And a lot of classes make huge changes from like level 60 to level 90 even. It is very different. A whole million AA clickies isn't overwhelming enough. Yes. Oh, yes. And for reference, if you are somebody who, like, if you even played Luckland content and you're familiar with AAs, remember back in the day, you were probably pretty well off if you had like 600 AAs, maybe 700 AAs. I have 47,000. AAs now. And I didn't even finish all the AAs from Terror of Lucklin, and there's a whole expansion out past it now. I think rogues have like up to 55,000 AAs now, and I'm pretty sure Shadow Knights just crossed over 80,000. So there are a lot of AAs now. Alright, cool. So, we're gonna go kill... let's go kill Rallos Zek Ro now. I love playing Dwarf Warrior, but I'm strongly considering Wood Elf Ranger. Dude, Wood Elves are probably my favorite race in the entire game. Just because the first character that I ever made it past like level 10 on was a Wood Elf Druid. I want to say way back in 2002, I think it was 2002. At the time, I made a Wood Elf Druid, and I stuck with that Wood Elf Druid all the way up through Plains of Power. I think it was maybe Legacy of Ikisha. Because it was still back whenever they used to release 2 expansions a year. They did 1 big expansion and 1 small expansion. It was always 1 big expansion with a level cap increase, and 1 small expansion with it was just like additional content. Yeah, I was a Wood Elf Druid. Wood Elves are like 100% my favorite class. And my favorite thing about rogues still in general are the various illusions that you can use. A lot of the illusions these days are like visages that are usable by any class, but I still like all the old school illusions, like Dark Elf, Wood Elf. Ixar, you know, even Vashir, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're considering starting a Wood Elf Ranger, I would do it. Wood Elf, number 1, Rangers are pretty fun these days anyways, in my opinion. But a Wood Elf Ranger just fits that class to a T. I know some people prefer half-elves for bards and rangers for some reason, but I think Wood Elf just fits that class perfectly. And another one of my favorite gods to just hop in and beat up on a regular basis is the Rallos Zek Ro. I'm really happy that in about 3 months, we're going to be getting the Fabled content again. So we get the Fabled versions of these bosses. So Rallos Zek Ro becomes like he's actually something that can kill me on a regular basis. Here we go. Level 80. This used to be the most fun fight, in my opinion, with Planes of Power. I'm gonna make the plunge and make a Char and Firiona be nice. Well, let me know, man. I might send you some stuff. Because I've got a lot. Because I'll run through this content, you know, usually like once a month or so. But like Empress Ra, Lord Inquisitor Saru, a lot of those bosses I'll kill on a weekly basis. And I have just stacks and stacks of loot on additional characters. Like I think I have like 15 different characters, each with like 500 items just sitting in their bank, waiting for me to either make a character or to send loot to somebody. I've got so many repeats of so many of those items that are just twinked out items, like Blades of Carnage, all the Temple of Veeshan loot. Nice. Nice. So he died to about 800,000 damage. Oh, nice. He dropped a cool weapon, too. This gold rune mithril knife, back in the day, whenever me and my brother made a rogue, this dagger used to go for so many DKP. It looks cool, too. Cool. All right. And still, one of my favorite additions was when they introduced Agents of Change to live servers, so I can just grab any of these instances that I want, and I don't have to fight for spawns. Because there are still some people on this server that will spawn camp some versions of these gods or these bosses, and they will just keep them on lockdown. Okay, just got all the expansions and made my rogue. Time to start reading through AAs. Oh, good luck. I will say, in addition to AAs, make sure that you're using your combat abilities too. Because you have your basic attacks like your backstab and your auto attack. And another important skill is auto skill. You can use /auto skill backstab, and your character will automatically backstab on every refresh now, so you don't have to press that button. So you've got your basic attacks like attack, like backstab. Then you've got your combat abilities. Yeah, and then you've got your AAs. If you just type /auto skill, it's going to tell you the abilities that you can auto skill. So like warriors now can automatically kick. Shadow Knights can automatically bash. It's just a part of your rotation now that you never have to click that button anymore. But you've got your combat ability window, which is down here for me. Down here at the bottom left says combat abilities. You're going to want to pull that up because that tells you all of your combat abilities that you can use that all have different timers. And then you've got your AAs, which you want to go down to can activate on this little drop down. And that's going to tell you the abilities that you can activate. Don't rogues have the ability now to somehow stab from the front? Yes. That is called chaotic stab. There are different ranking versions of it. Like now there were 16 rankings of it. But now you can backstab from any direction. You'll just backstab for less if it's from the front or from the side. Because beforehand, backstab was always you had to be on the back, and it even has a warning. Yeah, but now with chaotic stab, you can literally backstab from any direction. You just don't do it as much. Like, you don't damage for as much. So like if you're ever making a character, like a heroic character specifically, the first thing I'd want to do is look at your combat abilities, and then also look at your AAs and go down to can activate. And that's going to tell you any of the abilities that you can activate and make a hot button on your bar. And that's an ability that you can activate. Otherwise, everything else is passive and you don't need to even worry about. Like, rogues don't have all that many as far as AAs, but we have tons of disciplines, which are your combat abilities. That's where a lot of the rogues' real damage comes in. And do yourself a favor, if you made a level 85 heroic character, don't buy any gear from the bazaar. Like, don't sell chrono and buy gear from the bazaar for yourself, because people overcharge specifically because of the people who come back and make heroic characters. They know that you'll pay outrageous prices to get better loot at level 85. Don't do that. Don't give any of the scalpers any money. How far should I go down using abilities at 85? You have exactly 0 plat. Okay, well, it's going to end up giving you like some platinum that you can use. Oh, I had to allow that message because you said naked. How far should I go down using abilities at 85? You're going to have quite a few abilities to use at 85 still, dual. You're going to want to look at all of those abilities in your AAs that you can use, because it's going to be a good chunk of damage. And your combat abilities. You'll probably have a row of at least 10 abilities that you'll be using. Pixel, if you're planning on doing it kind of like hardcore, like starting at level 1 and just going naked, then I would probably recommend following the hero's journey. Let's see here. Because the hero's journey quest line is literally going to take you from like 1 to 85. I've made a heroic tune in the past, and this heroic slot is reusable if I delete the previous tune, so I lost them. Oh, that's why. Okay. Something else you're going to want to check for yourself is the claim. If you do /claim, it's going to pull up all the stuff that you can claim from any of the expansions that you've ordered or pre-ordered in the past. This is going to be some useful stuff. This will give you lots of like reusable bags, maybe mounts, some cool weapon ornaments and stuff like this. Make sure you're pulling up your claim window, because that'll probably help you a little bit too. But I always try to tell everybody, just do yourself a favor. Don't try to buy anything from the bazaar that's around level 85, because there are so many scalpers that will set stuff at ridiculous prices, thinking that new people will return, buy a whole bunch of chrono, and then sell the chrono for platinum, and then use that platinum to buy the ridiculously priced stuff. Like, Bazaar has some ridiculously priced items at level 85. Dude, the scalpers here have it down to a science. Let's just do this. Let's look at some level 85 gear in the marketplace. Some of it looks like it's not so bad. For reference, if you buy a chrono on this server with real life money and then sell that chrono, you'll probably get around 8 million platinum. And this stuff looks to be not so bad as far as prices now. It used to be way more ridiculous. But you can get yourself some pretty good stuff now, it looks like, for some decent prices. But if you see somebody trying to sell you an item for 1 million platinum at level 85, don't do it. There are going to be some people who are like, yeah, man, it's worth it. You're going to need it. No. You replace gear so fast in the higher levels, especially leveling from 85 to 120. Don't let someone tell you something is worth 1 million platinum, because it's not. All right. So we've killed Terris-Thule, Saryrn, Rallos Zek, Mithaniel, Marr, and Rallos Ro. So I guess we can do some elemental plane stuff now. So let's go to the plane of fire. But I always try to tell people in general, if you're coming to Firiona V, don't let people steal your money. Should I've just made my character heroic? I mean, it's up to you. I really don't recommend hopping into a heroic character. But you're the one that said you have a level 120 character, right? If you're going to make your character heroic, you might as well just jump up to a level 100 heroic. Because you're going to be approaching content that you're a little bit more familiar with now. But I like leveling from like 1 to 90 because that's when I'm like most familiar with as far as leveling, and that's where I have my most fun. So I love making level 1 characters on this server and just going from like 1 to 100 again. But it really depends on what you want, Pixel. If you want to try to get to the end game again as fast as possible, then heroic character would probably be your best bet. But the vast majority of players on Firiona V server, in my opinion, are like level 1 to 60 and then level 120. There's a huge gap in the player base from like 70 to 100. Nah, I like the leveling. Yeah, same here. And you have so many options now to level from like at least 1 to 75. Because if you want to level from 1 to 75 all within the Serpent Spine expansion, you can do that. And that's where a lot of the hot zones are right now anyways. Alright, we're gonna switch up our graphics here just a little bit. Let's go, what do we want to be? Let's be a Sarnak. So this is either my second favorite or my favorite Planes of Power raiding zone. I used to raid in Plane of Fire all the time. This was my guild's favorite raiding zone back in the day. So I've got a lot of fond memories of this zone in particular. But I know, in general, a lot of people prefer Plane of Time or Plane of Power, or Planes of Power leveling, or raiding, I should say. Plane of Time is really cool because it's lots of the gods, but Plane of Fire is really important to me, both for leveling and for raiding. I spent so much time leveling here back in the day. And some of these raid mobs I'll just skip past. Like these two birds, I'm not going to waste my time with them because they don't really drop any useful loot, and they also charm. And there's been a few times that they've charmed me at level 120. So one of my favorite things to do here is we're just going to pull this entire back area. We're going to pull all these raid mobs, all these little side mobs. We're going to make us a giant train. There's like there's like 5 or 6 of these raid bosses that we can pull, in addition to all the tiny little enemies around, and we'll just fight them all at once. So Rogue gets stealthy getaway as some kind of sucker. So almost every single class now has some kind of sucker that you can use. But yes, the Rogue's version is stealthy getaway. You'll have to be hiding and sneaking for like 20 seconds before you can activate it. But it'll teleport you to like a sucker point in the zone. Yeah, it's like a evac. Yeah. If anybody here remembers the Druid version, Lesser Sucker, back in the day, then that's what that is. Yeah. I'll use that like whenever I'm like in some of these zones that are really like the zone line is super far away or there isn't a zone line. And it'll teleport me to the safe spot in the zone. All right, we should have a giant train now. Nice. Yeah, we pulled almost everything over here now. All right, look at that. Here we go. Okay. It's fighting time. Nice. Nice. So that was, I think, like 4 raid bosses. Yeah, Blizzak's the Omni Fiend. Dropped a Cape of Flames. Babnox the Spider Queen. She just dropped the molds. Pyronus dropped the molds. Magneton dropped a cool necklace. All right, that's cool. So nothing really of importance from those guys. They were always just like the farmable raid bosses that people would put in rotation on the server back in the day. We're going to kill General Reparm and Archfiend, or Archmagus, I should say. Is your guild accepting new members? My guild, I'm pretty sure is, yeah. Knights of the Dawn. This is like a community guild. Not a community guild. This is a guild that I joined that was like starting to put people together to be more social. So I'm sure my guild would be accepting people. They're kind of small though. A lot of people boxing. I'm trying to remember what the most common, or what like the most friendly guild on the server is. I can't remember their name off the top of my head for some reason, but there's a guild on this. Small guilds are okay. Yeah. That's usually the way I prefer to go, because I don't want it to be super social, because I'm, in general, pretty introverted myself. Emerald Alliance, that's what I was thinking of, yeah. Yeah, Emerald Alliance of Fear and of E, they will literally invite anybody. They're like one of the most super friendly guilds on the server. They're the ones I was talking about that does like giveaways and stuff all the time here on this server as well. So I would definitely recommend Emerald Alliance. Bigger guilds are clicky. They can be. I wouldn't necessarily say Emerald Alliance is clicky. There's probably like a couple clicks in there, but for the most part, they're definitely, like, they were the guild that I joined whenever I came back about 3 years ago. Yeah, they were the guild I joined when I came back about 3 years ago, and they were really nice. They helped me kind of get back on my feet, because when I came back, I had lost my original character. I didn't really have anything when I came back, so like the 10 different accounts that I use when I'm leveling now, they were all made within the last 3 years. Alright, so we're starting the ring for the Fennin Ro, the Tyrant of Fire. We have to kill 7 or 8 of these big groups of enemies. And then it'll spawn like 5 or 6 different bosses. And then it'll spawn 5 or 6 different bosses. And then 4 different bosses. And then we'll finally fight Fennin Ro. This is definitely like the biggest ring event of Planes of Power. But this guild that I joined, they've been super friendly as well. Since most people on this server, since this isn't like a locked box server, a lot of people play with tons of boxes. This guild that I joined has been really cool because they'll make a point to like kicking boxes out of groups to invite people who want to group with other people. Which has been really nice because in most of the end game content that you're going to see on EverQuest these days, if it's not raiding content, most of it is boxing content. Like everything is specifically designed to be good for groups, and a lot of people box, so there's almost never space for anybody at level 120 unless you're a part of a guild. Like if you're level 120 and you go LFG, it's really difficult to find a group of people to fight with. At least in my experience these days, because so many people run 6 characters at a time. Which I'm not personally a fan of. I have 6 characters running, but they're all just sitting in the background. I'm not like running them all at the same time because I don't run any multi-boxing programs. So whenever I box, it's literally like alt-tabbing, which is quite difficult with all the abilities that you have. Okay, we're gonna change this music. Yeah, there we go. I love some EverQuest music, but the EverQuest 2 music is just so orchestral that some of it just sounds very, very ear grating sometimes. Alright, so let's just fight all these guys at once right here. Otherwise this takes too long. Alright, now we're gonna kill these 4 guys. And then we're going to have Fennin Ro spawn. He's the big boy that we're here for. I hope he drops the dagger. A dagger is so cool. Used to be one of my favorite dagger graphics in the entire game. Alright, one more and then we got Fennin Ro. No! Don't attack me just yet. I want to get a cool screenshot. This guy used to be such a fun fight because he was like one of the first like range only fights. back in the day, at least for the Planes of Power event. He hits really hard and he rampages everything around him. So it was funny, as a rogue, I always had to just summon a whole bunch of throwing stuff and throw stuff at him. This is where Rangers really got their chance to shine. Because my guild would grab him, and then we would pull him over to this corner, and we'd have a tank just sitting, I think it was right here. We'd have a tank just sitting right here, and tanking him up against the wall. And then all of the raid would just sit back here and shoot him. Because you had to be out of his rampage area, otherwise you would die in like a single rampage hit. But thankfully, he is a chump now. He is easy peasy. He still looks cool as hell though. Alright, so let's see how much we hit him for. We got our backstab on. Nice. We hit him for just under 1 million damage. Let's see what he dropped. Okay, so he dropped two of his chess pieces. Have you played this since release, like 1999 release, that is? I started EverQuest back in 2001, I think. It was just before Luckland dropped, is when I started playing way back in the day. I played really hardcore, me and my brother, and up until like 2007. And then I quit for probably, I want to say close to 10 years. And then I came back and played off and on, and just up in 3 years ago, I say, is when I came back and really started grinding again. You seem to know your shit. The nostalgia right now is taking me back. I remember it very fondly. And what they say, they have rose-tinted glasses. I'm like the epitome of that. But thank you, though. I don't know everything about this game, but I know a decent chunk about the old school stuff. I'm only just now getting into the point where I remember, or I know a decent bit about the end game. But I'm much more of like a nostalgia Andy. I remember tons about the old school stuff. Alright, so that was Fennin Ro. Hey, thanks for the follow, Creeping Death. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around. So, we've killed pretty much all the important gods from Tier 1. We did Terris-Thule, Saryrn, Mithaniel Marr, Rallos Zek, Rallos Ro, now Fennin Ro. Now we're going to go old school for a second. We're going to go back and we're going to fight the old school Terris-Thule, the old school Anarok, and we might even hit Tunair. Tunair is an event all in itself because you have to basically kill everything in that zone to get Tunair to spawn. So we might do that. I've only done that once in like the last year because of how long it takes, but killing Tunair is just a good time. Any of you E99ers probably know how interesting the Tunair experience is because she is camped so hardcore. Even on live servers these days, she's camped very religiously. So we've killed some new school stuff. Before we go back to killing gods, we're going to go and fight some of the old classic gods for a little bit. So let's go over to Terris-Thule and Anarok. I really like the Plane of Fear experience because they drop some of my favorite items, like the golems. Amulet of Necropotence is just such a cool item in my opinion. It was the first graphic that I got that I really wanted to farm back in the day. I used to make a lot of money farming. I would kill those golems and then just sell this skeleton Amulet of Necropotence, I would sell it because it was a really common item. Let's see here. Plus, anybody could use it, so anybody had an instant cast skeleton graphic, which was always really cool back in the day. Alright, so let's go hit Plane of Fear. And what's even better, the Death Touch doesn't do enough damage to kill me these days. So on the combat skills, what are the timer numbers indicating? Seconds? Yes. Yes, a lot of the combat skills are based on seconds. So let's see here. You've got the duration itself. Which is how long it lasts. You've got the reuse, which is the reuse timer itself. The timer, I might be wrong on that timer itself, but the timer is how you can kind of sort them. So anything that shares the timer number is a part of the same group. That's how you can organize them. So anything, in this case, it's like a timer of 18. It's all the same ability, but higher level versions. Like any of a rogue, any of the timer 16s that you see, those are all the aiming disciplines, which are good for like backstabs. Because we have a backstab that we can activate if we're hiding and sneaking. So our backstab never misses and it does additional damage. That's how you can start your fight. So I like to sort by timer just so you can actually find like the highest level version of a specific class of abilities. And causes double backstabs to do insane damage. Yeah, now at level 120, I can backstab, I think, up to 8 times. The highest backstab that I've ever done was like 27 million damage. Because I got 3 lucky critical assassinate backstabs at the same time. In addition to some critical backstabs. Because there's a whole other class of stats in this game called luck now. And it has a chance to improve the effects of heroic mods, skill successes, and critical potency. Because in regular EverQuest, we always had just basic stats. You had your strength, stamina, intellect, and all that good stuff. Now there are heroic versions of those stats, which greatly increase those stats and how they affect your damage. Like tanks, they've got tons of heroic stamina and heroic agility because it increases their defense, their dodge ability, all that good stuff. As a damage class in general, you always want to have really high heroic dexterity because that increases the proc chance of your weapon abilities and your critical damage. Heroic stats are something I really wish that someone would make a current video on. I mean, hell, I might have to do that because nobody has done it in a long time, at least that I've seen, explaining what the breakdown of the current stats. Because you've got your classic stats and you've got your heroic stats and now you've got luck on top of things. And luck just gives you a higher chance of getting a really insane critical strike damage. It also affects casters too. Because as much damage as I do as a rogue, I think one of the best classes in the game right now as far as damage is concerned is Necromancers. Necromancers are absolutely insane as far as damage. Which makes me happy because I used to love Necromancers. I thought they looked so cool. Especially when they were in these old school Spectre forms. Necromancers is just such a cool class in this game. Alright. Now we're going to beat up the Golems and Terris-Thule. And like I said, I like these golem fights because even if they manage to hit me with Death Touch, it doesn't do enough damage to kill me. The old school robe, scythe, and book will never not be the coolest to me. Exactly. Absolutely exactly. I cannot tell you how sad I was when I spent the time and effort to get this Afridi Death Visage mask because it turns you into an illusion specter. I cannot tell you how sad I was when I learned that illusion that it turns you into is not the old school specter graphic. It's the newer version they added with like the buried sea. It's so disappointing. I spent like 10 hours getting this illusion mask, thinking I was gonna get like the old school specter graphic. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Very, very disappointing to learn that it's the new version. There are some graphics in this game that should have just never been messed with, in my opinion, and Spectre's one of them. Oh, shit. And this damn zone and their aggro range. Plane of Fear, even still at level 120, can be frustrating because these guys just aggro from all across the zone. Alright, so instead of doing old school illusion, we're going to go illusion Firebone. Get our red skeleton graphic here. Alright, get you guys some close-up looks at the golems, and then I'm hoping one of them actually tries to death touch me, because like I said, it doesn't do enough damage now to kill me anymore. Back in the day, they used to up the damage on Khazad-Thule repeatedly, trying to make sure that it would kill you. And I think they stopped at like 64,000. But 64,000, I mean, you have more hit points than that at level 90 now. These poor guys are only level 55. Alright, fingers are crossed for Amulet of Necropotence. Ooh, Bloodfire. Some of these weapons are just so nostalgic. Like, oh, Bone Razor. This used to be such a good weapon for a rogue back in the day. Like one of the go-to weapons for rogues before the Epic 1.0. A lot of this stuff, like I said, it's not going to do me any good now. The main thing that I'm really here for is the Amulet of Necropotence, because it's not lore, so I can have as many of those as I want. And they still sell pretty good on the server. You can still sell those for like around 100,000 platinum. Alright, let's see here. Aw, still not one. Damn. Oh, the Staff of the Earth Crafter back in the day. Such a good druid weapon too. The Drones of Doom combat. That was back when they were like, you know what, druids, on top of doing other things, you need to be doing melee damage too. Those cool weapon procs. And another like underused thing, which you don't see that often after later expansions in EverQuest, is back whenever enemies would show the weapons that they're holding. Like Classic, Kunark, Valius, Luckland, like the enemies, whenever they were holding certain weapons, you could tell. And that used to be like a thing for my guild back in the day. They'd be like, oh man, look, the golem's wearing this specific dagger. So we know we want to kill it. We want to beat everyone else to it. But in the newer versions of raids and stuff like that, you don't, like, all the enemies have specific graphics regardless of what equipment they're holding for you. Just doesn't hit the same. Come on, that was our last chance for a Necropotence. We got one. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so anybody want an Amulet of Necropotence on the Firiona V server? I think I probably have several, even in my Dragon's Horde. Let's see here. So I only have 2 on me right now. Is it normal for melee classes to have 50 buffs and only like 3 damaging abilities? I mean, I guess it depends. Like certain melee classes, like I'd probably say like Beast Lord and Ranger, I think they have a few more damaging abilities in general, but like buffs and stuff like that down here, yeah, that's super common that you have a ridiculous amount of buffs going. I think now you can have pretty close to 50, if not 50. Let's see here. What is it? Mystical Attuning. So this passive ability increases number of mystical effects that you can be affected by at once by 24. So I can have 24 additional buffs on top of what the old cap used to be, which like 15 or something like that. You have Assault, Twisted Shank, and Bleed. The other slots are almost all buffs. Yeah, that sounds about right then. Especially level 85. Because all the other ones that you're going to see for Rogue that you end up getting are specific like damaging abilities you can use like once a minute or something like that. Like I've got Shadow Strike, you've got Pinpoint Defects, which is like, that's the one increases your piercing damage as a rogue. And you can use that like every 4 minutes or something like that. So yeah, I have, I guess, close to like 7 abilities that I'll use on a constant uptimer. And all the other ones are like lack of aggro, transferring aggro to somebody else, confusing an enemy, and then you've got a whole bunch of different disciplines. 16 was the original cap, I believe, and that included both buffs and debuffs. So if you had 16 buffs, then picked up a debuff, it would drop your most recent buff. Yeah, more or less, yes, yeah. So 16 plus 24, so 40 or so. Plus there are some other innate perks that you can pick up from other expansions that increase other, that gives you additional buffs. Like Depths of Dark Hollow, one of the AAs gives you like 2 additional buff slots. Makes a lot of sense to me now. I had to rename skills to what they did so I know what I'm looking at. That's another reason why, like on my screen down here at the bottom, you'll see that you can assign icons to buffs now as well. If you right click, see here. If you right click and hold, it's going to give you a little drop down. And if you click assign icon, you have all of these different icons that you can assign to buffs or any of your abilities. So like me, any of my direct damage abilities, I put like as these little daggers in my hand. So I know if I'm looking at it without even reading it, it's an ability that does dagger damage of some kind. There's other ones that I've assigned to like poison damage, stuff like that. That was a really great thing that they ended up adding. So that's another thing I always try to recommend to people. You've even got these old school icons right across the way here. All the very old school icons, you can use those for spells as well. So you don't have to download anything specific or anything like that. You can use all these old school icons if you want. And yes, I think it's awesome as well. So like I've got all of my different illusions over here. Some of them I kept as like the original illusion graphics themselves. And some of them I assigned different illusion perks as well, or different illusion icons. All right, enough rambling. Let's go find Terris-Thule. And the most disappointing thing that they've done to this zone, at least in my opinion, is the fact that canonically, in the EverQuest most recent live servers, in one of the expansions, Terris-Thule actually dies. Not like you kill his avatar, but he dies in the story. So they replaced him here in the original Plane of Fear. They replaced his graphic. I remember when hitting level 20 was a huge accomplishment. It used to be. Because like I said, there's P99 streamers I'll watch that are still playing like P99, and hitting level 20 is hard. It's not the experience that it used to be, for sure. Hitting level 20 was awesome back in the day because that's when you can assign yourself a last name, which is always really cool. I always thought that was like a huge accomplishment because then you would see people go from like single name to first and last name. But yeah, what I was saying is one of the disappointing things they did with this zone is replacing Terris-Thule's graphic. You'll see it when I find him because he doesn't look like he used to. Since he actually died in the storyline, they replaced him. He's now the shade of Terris-Thule. He's got an updated graphic, which just isn't the same. It's cool, but it's not the original classic Terris-Thule blob. I wish that was something that I could pick, like, personally in the zone, like in an old school version of him. But that's not something they've done. He's such a good time to beat up, though. He also can Kha'Zix touch, obviously. Oh, sad. I was looking forward to the original blob who looked like they got off the brand steroids. So here in a second, when we go to Plane of Time, and I'm actually killing those gods, they still have the old school Terris-Thule in Plane of Time, which is weird. And his own little plane, they updated his graphic, but in Plane of Time, they didn't. So here in a second, when we go to Plane of Time and we kill all the gods, you'll actually see they still have his original graphic, which is super cool. Anyways, let's see if he dies in a single hit. And he did. So we hit him for just about 500,000. He dropped some cool stuff, at least. So he dropped a really good Twink belt. This Bile Etched Obsidian Choker. It's got no level requirement and it's got See Invisibility on it. So, Pixel, if you want, I can send you some level 1 Twink stuff. All right, so that was Plane of Fear. All right, so now we're going to go kill Anarok here in a second. Just in Crescent right now killing training dummies. Hey, what's your character's name? I'm going to parcel you a couple items real quick. Because I can send stuff over via parcel for free. Oven top. Oh my god, nice. All right, so we're gonna send over something by parcel to you. To Oven top. Very nice. Well, let me click the parcel, dude, please. This is why people shouldn't stand on top of the parcel, guys. Here, you'll get an Amulet of Necropotence as well. Had an original cleric called Stovetop way back in the 99 and they made me change it. That's priceless, actually. That's really funny. Alright. So let's go kill Anarok as well. Just gonna get a teleport over by my druid. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff for EverQuest that it's a good time, in my opinion. That's super cool. Thanks, man. You're welcome. Like I said, I can't promise it's going to do you a whole lot of good, but it's at least, you know, something extra. Whatever weapons I get, I'll probably send over your way as well. Kill Magi, Patasa, just so I know the Earth Staff actually drops. Is that in Plane of Hate? I don't remember. Awesome. I'd like to join you in your guild if you don't mind. I mean, I definitely don't mind. It's not my guild. It's a guild that I joined. It's a guild I got invited to. So you're welcome to. I can always ask. Yeah, I can ask to see if there's anybody that can invite you. They're a pretty small guild. I don't know as far as the status. At least I know someone. True. All right, yeah, I can look. I can try to find him Creeping Death. I'm sure it's probably marked on the map, so I can probably find him. This is another zone I'm not really super happy that they redid. I'd be down to join if they wouldn't mind. Sure, I can always ask as well. I did have my own guild that I was running here for a while, but since I decided to try to be social, my guild was literally just me and all like 50 of my different alts. But yeah, I did think it was kind of funny that they put the Agent of Change here for the Plane of Hate next to this old school tower here in the Ro area. You have disguises? You do. You do have disguises, especially if you made a heroic rogue. You should have a whole batch of these different disguises. You can, like automatic spells, you can change to Barbarian, Burn-Eye, Erudite, Goblin, Half-Elf, Human. Oh, you can even change to Shisar if you want to. Which I also think is pretty cool. And I might consider bringing over my warrior. Nice, Pixel. That was damn near 50,000 AAs. Hot damn. Yes. Yeah, 47,000 or so. And for reference, I don't have all of them. So I am missing a very large chunk of AAs. Which illusions should I use? I've got basically every illusion that you can have in the game. There's a couple I don't have, but what do we want to look like? Something silly. Here. What about this? You want silly? I've got a little Fadark Forest Guardian. I think that's kind of a silly graphic. Bam. Yep. This was an incredibly expensive illusion, because one thing that they added into the game is they added heritage crates, and those heritage crates all specifically have an illusion that you can get in that crate. So like this was part of like a Feardal heritage crate. Yep. Kill Anarok with the fairy. You got it. All right. Let's see here. What was the name of the enemy you were looking for here? Magi. Let's see here. Where does that person spawn? Oh, right here. Okay. We can go right over here. Maybe? Oh, it's not up. This must be a placeholder. Sorry, dude. I was gonna kill it, but it looks like it might have a placeholder. Okay, let's go. I think we went the wrong way. This zone used to terrify me back in the day. Okay, mission number 1 is not getting lost like an absolute tard. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Anarok drops literally nothing of use to us. Because of the number of times that Plane of Hate has been redone, he doesn't drop any of the cool stuff that he used to, that all used to be just like Khazak-Thule. Now everything he drops has like level requirements on it, or level recommended stuff, which is really ridiculous in my opinion, but he's just as ugly as ever. All right, so let's beat him up. So, with the new event for Anarok, you fight him like that, and then this Evangelist of Hate goes through and does like this little text thing, and then Anarok's gonna respawn down here. And I thought about doing Tunair, I just don't think I'm going to. The fact that I have to go through and kill so much stuff in the zone to get Tunair to spawn, that's just like an 1.5-hour event. She's a cool fight, but to make up for it, we'll have to go through and fight. We'll do some like Avatar War, Veeshan's, Temple of Veeshan, stuff like that. Okay, let's kill this guy over here now. Here. There we go. Oh, I killed him to a riposte. Not bad. Let's see the useless stuff that he dropped. Like this. Why? Why is there level recommended stuff? Come on. It just doesn't do any good for like farming or anything like that. It's cool looking stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was redone for Gates of Discord. I want to say Gates of Discord is when they redid the whole Plane of Hate experience, which is kind of a letdown. All right, let's get everyone out of this instance. And Before we hit Plane of Time, I guess we can go hit some Valius content if anybody wants to see the Avatar of War get completely face rolled. Would I want to go to Fortress Mechanitus? I don't know if that's something that you would be able to molo, like solo molo. I don't know if that's a place that you'd want to go to. I would honestly say if you're looking at like soloing some content duel, you're going to want to go a couple of expansions back from level 85. So Carafirm is the new raid boss, right? Or am I a little behind in the... Oh, Carafirm, he was a raid boss during the Secrets of Fadewar expansion, several back. Let's see here. So if we're looking at like expansions, he was a raid boss during the Secrets of Fadewar expansion, and we've had like 10 expansions since then. For reference, I can solo Carafirm the Sleeper now. I'm in Dragonscale's Hills. It's the first zone mentioned, 3 expansion packs before 85. Dragonscale Hills. Yeah, then you should be fine then. So that's the Secrets of Fadewar expansion then. So you've got Underfoot, Seeds of Destruction, and Secrets of Fadewar. You could probably do... I would probably recommend either the Buried Sea or Serpent Spine stuff. As a rogue, you might have fun soloing this little quest for the Ifriti Death Visage. It's level 75 mask, and not many people have it. You went through Anguish a couple days ago to help a guildmate? Hell yeah, I love soloing Anguish. But yeah, Carafirm the Sleeper is like the final raid boss with the Secrets of Fadewar. There is an event called Dragons that takes you from the lowest level dragons like Lord Nagathon up to Carafirm the Sleeper. So would the gear from the Spire expansion pack be better? No. So level 85 gear here. Let's look at this. So we'll look at a primary slot weapon for a rogue. So the heroic gear that you're going to get, like the heroic dagger I think that you have for a rogue, probably has like, what, 800 hit points or so on it. The raid gear and the group gear for level 85 has over 2,000 hit points on it. If you're looking to actually improve your gear duel, then I'd recommend looking at some of the quests that you might have around level 85. Because there are some quests that you can do that will probably lead you to some better gear. Because the heroic gear is meant to be like a stepping stone to actual better stuff. But you're not going to find any better gear in the older expansions because like the Serpent Spine's level 75 stuff. Oven Top just added you as a friend. Nice. But to find like actually better level 85 gear, you're going to actually have to do some content that would be in House of Thule, which you're going to want at least one other person for. In Duel, I don't know if you're planning on boxing. That might be the best option. If you would box with one other character and use a mercenary, that would probably be the best way to go. But soloing as a rogue at 85, you're probably not going to find any better gear for yourself. You're going to true box? Respect. I respect that. But just for reference, like if you're looking to actually like solo or molo, then you're going to want to do stuff that's like 3 expansions behind. Because you can still get experience from those. You'll like fight probably light blue enemies and maybe some blue enemies, and you'll probably get some experience. But otherwise, I would really recommend looking for that Emerald Alliance guild or another guild that might be around. And I would recommend going there because there's going to be tons of other people around your level that would probably help you level. Where was I going to go next? Got it. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so let's go fight. We're going to go beat up the Avatar of War. or anybody who is interested. Why not? Because we're going to an ice zone, we might as well pop on our fire illusion. Oh, does anybody want to see... What is his name? Dain Frostreaver? Anybody want to see Dain Frostreaver bite the dust? He drops some fun stuff. Dain Frostreaver, Temple of Veeshan. I don't ever really do get them all. Nice. If you have time. Alright, let's do it. We'll hit Dain Frostreaver, and then we're going to go beat up the Avatar War. We'll wrap our way back around to the Plane of Time gods. Dain Frostreaver is funny because if I don't kill him fast enough and he banishes me, he'll just summon me right back to him. But he should die almost immediately. He's a chump. Veilix expansion was my favorite. I'm really pretty close to agreeing with you. Valius was just such a good time. Valius was a very, very good time. And I know Valius is also super current for a lot of P99ers as well. A lot of people like Valius. I can see why it was finally released on P99. Speaking of, I did finally get the stuff necessary to go through and install Project 1999, so we'll probably start seeing some streams from me on that soon too. Which is going to be a very, very interesting power struggle. Considering the place of power I'm coming from to Project 1999, it's going to be a very wowing, humbling experience. Grind time, baby, yeah. It is definitely a grind, comparatively speaking. I think it's going to be badass. It's going to be really cool because I've wanted to re-experience EverQuest at like its hardest point again. And the best way to do that is 100% going to be P99. Even the TLPs, the time lock progression servers here for EverQuest on live, they're just not the same experience as P99. Oh, Dain Frostreaver. He's not holding a hammer, so gotta go for a while. Thanks. Hopefully we can meet up in game soon. Catch you soon. Hey, have a good one, Pixel. Thanks for stopping by. And definitely, if you add me, I'll see if we can get some guild invites for you people as well. What are you thinking? Rogue are gonna make a farming character first? I mean, realistically, I think the smartest thing for me to do would be a druid, because it's the one I'm most familiar with, and you can solo really well as a druid. So I'll probably do a druid. TLPs feel like a joke compared to P99. I think I maxed out 2 tunes in classic TLP in the same time it took to get to like 34 as a Necro in P99. See, that's what I mean, yeah. Yeah, P99 is literally going to be the closest to classic EverQuest we're going to get here. TLPs are alright, but TLPs die so quick as well. Soloable farmer, that is. Make all the platform porting again. Exactly. See, as a druid, like you said, yeah, I can make money porting. I can kind of make a name for myself is realistically what I would like. That's another thing I like about servers like P99 is it's very community based. So you still have to make a name for yourself. That's the difference between classic EverQuest and current EverQuest is in current EverQuest, people can change their name, they can make new characters. There's not really any name you can make for yourself. In P99, you make a name for yourself because there's still such a tight-knit community of people. I really think that's cool. POK ruined porting for druids and wizzies. They did. There is a video that was put up on YouTube. Can't remember his name. There's a guy that put a video up on YouTube talking about like some of the worst nerfs that experienced in EverQuest, and I was actually a part of that video. And what I talked about in that video is how Plane of Knowledge nerfed wizards and druids, it went from making the game feel so big to feeling small, in my opinion, because it suddenly made everything so easily accessible. So that's one thing I talked about in the video. It went from making the game feel massive to feeling very small, because you could access everything after just a little bit of running. Okay, so let's go ahead and beat this dude up. Boom. Easy peasy. And we got some King Tormax experience too. Or faction, I should say. Alright, we got an Aegis of Ice. Not good, but not bad either. A Valium Crown. Fortress Mechanitus's Cake. Good. I'm glad it's easy. I didn't remember how easy that content was going to be, comparatively speaking. I'm glad it's going good for you, though. But like a good rule of thumb with EverQuest is typically 3 expansions back. If you're looking for solo or molo content, usually 3 expansions back. Alright, so that was Dain Frostreaver. Poor bastard didn't even get to banish me. Hey, thanks for the follow, Grim Geezer. I appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so that's Dain Frostreaver. Next up, we're going to hit Avatar of War. I didn't even think about it. I guess we could do Sleeper's Tomb as well. There's not really any loot that's worthwhile in Sleeper's Tomb, aside from maybe the Dwarf Mask. But Avatar of War, solid gear. Avatar of War and Temple of Veeshan are both really good. How hard is it to grind to level cap in live these days? Oh my god. It really depends on how you're doing it. If you are somebody who's willing to boot up a 6-box and do it all yourself, it's not going to be too bad. If you're someone who's trying to do it solo or LFG, it's going to be rough. I mentioned it whenever I started streaming about 2 hours ago, but leveling from like 110 to 115 is the hardest leveling experience I've ever had in EverQuest. And I almost want to say it's comparable to like leveling through level 59 back in the day on classic EverQuest, because it is a batch of hell levels. Like 110 to 115 is just a whole group of hell levels. But grinding from 115 to 120 isn't so bad. I don't know if it's because of the experience that you gain from the content or what, but it's not a good time. But leveling from 1 to 85, probably even 1 to 100, it's not so bad. Because everything is very, what's the word I'm looking for? The experience is very well designed from like 1 to 100 now. Because after level 100, everything goes from grinding by killing enemies to achievement based. A lot of stuff becomes very like, all the achievements that you end up getting for doing the group content and the missions becomes a huge bulk of the experience for leveling. When EverQuest used to be just basically find a spot, stick to it, and play it. What's up, Cody? How you doing, man? I was wondering if you were going to be popping in at any point. Coffee. Hell yeah, dude. I had a fucking, like a gigantic espresso delivered to me at like 5 a.m. So I'm sitting over here shaking like a fucking chihuahua. The only emotion you have in the morning? Yes. Yes, I'll agree to that too. But yeah, leveling from like 1 to 100 is still very much like what you're used to with EverQuest, just sitting in a spot and grinding. And 100 to 120 is very much so achievement based. You thinking blue for the mass items and plat overload for Hebrew items, or green for more people and high prices when you dabble in P99? I'm probably going to join the green server. I'll probably 100% join the P99 green just because it's a much more lively server, because it's more recent. Fucking Cody, no, I'm not going to go bite somebody. Only if they get my damn coffee order wrong. But no, like, I thought about doing blue because it has a lot of old school people on it, but green seems like the much more lively server. Leveling a wizard on green, I'll try and catch you. Hell yeah. And that's another thing I'm looking forward to, is actually finding groups of people. Like, grouping up and just doing content. That's going to be such a fucking good time. Last time I streamed, I think it was on Tuesday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. There were several people telling me that if I started on P99, there's going to be tons of people who were willing to help, which I'm all game for. I need as much help as possible on a hardcore server. It will suck because everything's going to be drastically more expensive on green. The P99 community is so good. Hell yeah. I only have a little bit of experience hearing stories about kind of the toxic endgame people and the people that kind of poop sock stuff, but there are some douchebags, but especially if you stream it, the community will give you items. Well, cool. I don't really want a whole bunch of free stuff. I just, like, I want people to group with and play the game with. That's what I'm looking forward to. It would be cool to get some help with stuff, but I'm way more interested in finding people who are like, hey, you want to group up? Like, let's go to fucking Crushbone and just grind it away for 6 hours. That's what I'm looking forward to. Leveling groups are much more common on green. That's what I expect. 1 to 60 all the way. That's what I'm looking forward to. The idea of being able to hop on, find kind of like a close-knit community of people, and just be able to, like, hey, who wants to go hit Castle Mistmore for a little bit? Who wants to go hit, you know, Old Sevelis or something like that for a little bit? That's what I want, again. You'll find that sometimes on EverQuest Live, but you normally have to form those groups yourself, like outside of the game. And you'll have to find people who want to join at a specific time of the week. Just be ready once you're 29 Druid to go on and on because people get jammed with porting whispers. Hey, that's fine. If I can make money, I'll do it. If there's one thing I am, it's a whore for money. If I can make money doing it, I'll do it. Yeah, Cody, you know, my dude. All right, so we're in Keldrakal now. We're gonna make our way. We're gonna kill King Tormax first, and then we'll beat up the Avatar War. I like this playlist a lot more than the last one. The last one was very sporadic. Okay, we're gonna go... Yeah, here we go. the wrong direction. Always forget King Tormax is on the south side. So, fingers are crossed for at least one Blade of Carnage and one Barbarian Mask. That would be cool. There's a rumor that P99 devs may make a new server, which means they have mana stones in the loot pool for a few months. You're not the first person to tell me that. There was another guy when I was streaming on Monday that told me that they might be making a new server on P99, which I think would be badass. That's kind of what I was waiting for. It would be cool to see something either announced or see something set in stone, so I'd probably take some time off from work for it as well, because it would be really cool to see a new P99 server launch. Not just a new EverQuest server launch, but a new P99 server launch, because that's when like the real grind hits. It would be cool to see some of those very, very classic items. And that would be something cool, especially if I could find like a group of people to do the, like go through the experience with. Groups for days on a new server, exactly. And I feel like there's less server stability issues on P99 than there is on live. Ooh. I'll be your rogue if you need one. Yeah, I'm down. I'll probably 100% still stick with Druid. Ooh, Horn of Hisagra. There we go. That's a good old school item. But that's, yeah, if they definitely make, if they make a new server for P99, I'll definitely hop in. That's another reason why I've kind of been putting off starting on P99, is I don't want to start a new character on a server that might be kind of dying soon, if you know what I mean. I hate putting a whole bunch of time and effort into a character that I know isn't really going to do me too much good. But if it's like a new green server, that would be cool. Avatar of War is probably one of my favorite fights in the game, even still. Just the loot that he drops is so nostalgic. I remember seeing people way back in the day, like in 2001, 2002, even all the way up to 2005, people were paying for like loot rights to like Derekor the Vindicator, his chess piece. They were paying for loot rights for his items. And like Blade of Carnage selling for ridiculous prices. I know the Sleeper was awoken last June and it triggered the fuck out of some neckbeards. Other guilds were farming Warder Weps and it caused a guild to break up on green, that is. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. There's never been more drama in an EverQuest server than the drama that the Sleeper and his zone brings to a group of people. Like, the drama that used to be caused back in the day because of the Sleeper was ridiculous. Like, I'm sure a lot of people never really paid attention to it, but EverQuesters understood, like, even news articles being made about the Sleeper back in the day. And if anybody remembers whenever, like, I think it was like 200 people fighting the Sleeper and actually killing him back in the day. I think my life's excitement has been downhill since the Sleeper drama back in the day. Yeah, that's a real thing. Life peaked around 20 years ago. You know, there's a lot of people who are going to agree with you. But the drama around the Sleeper and that whole event back in the day, like the guild of people with just like 30 clerics clicking, rezzing people, and throwing themselves at the sleeper for 20 hours straight to fight and kill him. Like, that was peak gaming for me as like a kid, as a teenager. And then the drama behind the GM spawning and despawning the sleeper because they said they were cheating or exploiting and stuff like that. That was such a fucking hilarious time to be alive. It was awesome because it was like one of the first MMOs where something like that was ever made. Yes, all for an empty loot table, because all the rumors were ever like, oh my god, it's going to drop the best items in the game. But then people brought the point, like, why would they make a loot table for a boss they never planned on letting die? Because a lot of people also didn't talk about it, is they purposely increased the sleeper's like health pool and his regeneration abilities every single expansion to make him unkillable after every expansion. They increased him all the way up to level 100 on EverQuest Live because they still planned on making him unkillable. It's just such a good time. But all the rumors, everyone saying, oh, he's going to drop the best items, man. And then someone, like, I remember seeing people say in chat, like, why would they make a loot table for a character they never planned on letting die? But it was cool when they finally killed him, though. And they actually beat him the second time because the GMs didn't despawn him. And they were like, fine, go ahead and do what you're going to do. It's a good time. Oh, see, here's some of the cool stuff. Breastplate of Eradication. Looks like we got a couple Reavers as well. Cool two-handed Twink weapons for sure. Boots of the Vindicator. No Cloak of Falling Stars, though. But yeah, the sleeper drama back in the day was a good time. But that was sadly around the time that my guild was already kind of falling apart anyways. Because I think it was like 2003 or 2004, maybe. So it was around the time that Gates of Discord dropped and EverQuest was already on like a downward spiral. Because World of Warcraft had dropped, EverQuest 2 had dropped. Gates of Discord, the expansion dropped, and a lot of people were upset about how overtuned it was. My guild fell apart. Just 100% fell apart. It was so sad. Alright, here's the big boy, the Avatar War. Fingers are crossed for a Blade of Carnage. Or maybe a Barbarian Mask, who knows. Aw, he died in a single hit too. Got some Claws of Veeshan faction though. Nice. Damn, we didn't get either item that we wanted. We got some cool Twink stuff though, just neither of the items that we wanted. We got the helmet, we got the ring, which is good for a Twink character. Alright, so Avatar War, I guess we could do Temple of Veeshan next too. Why not? That's where the really good Twink items drop for us. See if we can get somebody to start a level 1 character and just get them decked out in the best gear. Does Berserker do more damage than Rogue? I've always wondered. So in current endgame, no. Not from my understanding. I don't think they do more damage. Berserkers do end up kind of coming into their own and doing a lot more damage than they used to. But I don't think they do more damage than Rogues. I could be wrong. If somebody here raids an endgame and they think otherwise, you're welcome to let me know. But from my understanding, Berserkers end up doing, I think, kind of equal damage, because Berserkers end up becoming much more of a, like, they damage themselves and use, like, they go berserk because they actually, like, end up hurting themselves while they're doing damage. So all their perks are based off of, like, killing themselves to do extra damage. I think at one point, a couple expansions ago, Berserkers were, like, the top melee damage. Berserkers do more burst damage, Rogues have better sub damage. Okay, there you go. So in a sense, yeah, they can do more damage. If they're better at, like, burst damage, yeah. That seems fair. There's a guy I'll watch on YouTube that mains Necromancer, and he does stuff on the test server, and his like Necromancers just seem actually ridiculous, the amount of damage they do, because they have like 7 or 8 dots that they can stack over time, and it just does insane damage. At least my experience from endgame raiding. That seems fair. I appreciate it. I'm not super familiar with like endgame raiding parses, so I don't know. So it's cool to get some commentary from somebody who does actually know. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. One thing I will say, at least from the endgame stuff that I've experienced, a little bit from like the grouping side of things, I really do enjoy it still. I know a lot of people kind of hate what EverQuest has become, but a lot of the endgame stuff I still actually enjoy. It has been cool. With this guild that I ended up getting invited to, I've been invited to some groups to actually see like some of the endgame content, or like Terror of Lucklin, some of the Shadows of, almost said Shadows of Lucklin, but Night of Shadows, stuff like that. It's been pretty cool. My guild starting with Night of Shadows raids tomorrow. Nice, good luck. I do like how, for the most part, at least for the expansions that they drop these days, you can pretty much access any of the zones without keys being needed or flags needed. Like there's an exception of like 1 or 2 zones per expansion, but for the most part, you can access any of the zones without needing a flag, which I think is pretty cool. Because as a rogue, I like getting to explore because nothing really sees through Shroud of Stealth anymore. So I can just go anywhere and explore. I think it's always a good time. Keys and flags was a pain back in Planes of Power. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, it was funny because that was when they first introduced the charm, I think, with Planes of Power. And then like your charm gave you better stats as you unlocked a higher level zones in Planes of Power. But that was like the bane of my existence because I was in junior high or high school, I think, at the time. And me and my brother had to share a character to make sure that we could be on to raid when our guild was raiding. Because you needed everything, and there was no back flags at the time either. They didn't introduce back flags until later. So if you weren't there for a Mithaniel Marr kill, you couldn't move on to the next stuff until a week later when they hit Mithaniel Marr again. And that was also before instances as well, so everything was open world. If you missed a kill, yeah, you were in trouble. And then God forbid your guild got to, you know, like Plane of Fire for the first time, and then you're still locked at tier 3. Especially if you were like an important class too. God forbid you were like an enchanter or a cleric, and you missed that key. Oops. You're playing cleric? Nice. I always really enjoyed playing cleric back in the day too. It was cool, like getting priority for gear, because if your cleric was under geared, your group was not doing shit. Because you're the one literally keeping everyone alive. Okay, let's change our graphic here since we're in a new zone. What do we want to be? Making me long for my old druid. Hey man, druid was my first main, so I get it. Easiest legendary to farm. Yeah, druid back in the day was just such a good time. I don't know why I have two of the same icon here. We can get rid of one of those. I guess let's do... Damn, what do I want to be? I don't know what illusion I want to be here. I guess let's do... Oh, gnome? Yeah, I can do gnome. Yeah, I got you. Here you go. Here's an old school gnome. Always. That's actually spot on for Valius as well, with the old gnome mask that used to be so rare. Good old Mask of Tinkering. Love their big nose. An expert in nomenclature. Cody. Classy. Very nice, man. Very nice. Oh, dude, Cody, you're gonna love it. You get to see the wooden unicorns that used to make fun of so much. Here you go, dude. I'm gonna show you. Hype. Just walk up to Vulak and let all the other dragon bosses come to you. Man, I wish it would let me do that, but on what the update that they made for Temple of Veeshan, it's not the same that it used to be. Back in the day, if you tried to attack Vulak Air, whenever he was up, he would summon all the other dragons to him, but it's not like that anymore, at least on live servers. On EverQuest Live now, you actually have to kill all the other dragons to get him to spawn. Exactly. Otherwise, I'd 100% be fine with that. That would be so cool. Just walk up to him and attack him and let him pull everything to me. I wish. That would be so cool to do again, though. Alright, here you go, Cody. Now you're making me miss North Temple of Veeshan raids. Yep. These good old raids. Look at that, Cody. Just straight out of 1999. These aren't the wooden unicorns. They improved the graphics. I remember the original installed this when there was a picture of a huge wooden dragon that cracked me up. Oh no, you're going to see one here in a second, Cody. Let me find one. Here. This is pretty close to like the old school one. It used to be like on the old school, like the outside of the graphics on the packs and stuff like that. I need to find the picture. I think I know which one you're talking about too. But these are what like the old school graphics used to look like. And even the upscaled versions that are in like the newer raids, they're just like, they're a little bit smoother. But in EverQuest, a lot of the times whenever a dragon has a graphic like this with this crooked neck, that it's much more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's much more wormy. Those are all typically like the evil dragons, at least from my understanding. All the good dragons are the ones that have like the up neck, the upwards neck. And these guys were always like the evil dragons. Like those outside North Temple of Veeshan. No, yeah. You are correct. Oh, here we go. Fist of Lightning. This hand-to-hand weapon, since it's got like no level requirement on it, is still like the best, one of the best Twink weapons that you can use for a monk these days. And Bracelet of the Sky. Yep. Maybe my memory is just bad, but yeah, different head shape. Let me go find a disc if I have it. Oh, 100%, dude. If you have it, I want to see it. Not to mention, dude, if you have an original EverQuest CD, that will sell so well, especially if it's in good shape. I was looking at that stuff on eBay the other day, because collectors like to collect that stuff. You will find like ridiculous offers for stuff like that. We got some pretty good stuff here. Dude, if you have it, I'm serious. That can sell. If you have it, I'll buy it from you. Nah, Cody, I don't have mine. When I helped my parents pack up to move a couple years ago, my parents threw away all that stuff. Like my original Firiona V statue, my original like EverQuest CDs, the original trilogy CDs. I even had a strategy guide for it back in the day. I think it was for Valius. But sadly, when my parents packed up all that stuff to help them move, they threw it all away because they thought it was junk. You want to talk about depression? Oh, that could have been so good. That's like collectible items these days. Oh, see? We're getting some of the really good items here. We are going to be able to deck a Twink out. Or if anybody wants some free items, I guess. We got Godrelek, Sword of the Sky, Viam's Fang. All of these, like, no level requirement items, and they're all droppable. Somebody's going to get the hookup. I was wondering why they... Yep. Whether or not no drop. Yep. Firiona V. Everything is droppable. Hey. I can't see him. I hate fighting in the water. Okay, let's pull this dude out of the water. There we go. Let's see if he drops the same items he always does. Yep, a Bard Dagger. Let's see here. Pirate's Eye Patch, Orb of the Deep Sea, hate fighting in water. Ever done Plane of Water? Oh my god. Plane of Water is still the one Plane of Power zone I refuse to do. The only time I will touch Plane of Water, like as the event, is if it's the fabled content. That's the only time I'll touch it. I won't do it at all. Otherwise, it's just not worth it because it's so annoying fighting in water. Might not have the original, dude. I'll send you a pic. It's EverQuest Trilogy. You really have that, Cody? Bro, I will buy that from you. That's fucking amazing, dude. The guy who made the zone must have been drunk or doped. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Cody, if I'm serious, and if you, of course, if you want to keep it, I get it. But if you're okay with parting with it, I will buy that from you. That is an insanely cool collectible item, in my opinion. Sent you pics? Okay, I gotta see this. I got to see it. Yeah, dude, the original EverQuest trilogy, and you actually have the discs for it too. That's insane, Cody. I didn't think you would actually have that. Do yourself a favor, Cody, and look that up on eBay. I can have it? Nah, man, I'm not gonna take that for free. I appreciate it, but I'm not gonna take that for free. This might be the dragon you're talking about, Cody. The one that was on... Because this is the original, like, Lord Nagafin graphic. That's the one from the cover, ain't it? The dragon? I think so. My memory's just off because it looked more boxy. Well, to be fair, I think that they kind of gave increased graphics for this over the years, but it's still very boxy. I'm pretty sure Lord Nagafin was the one that was on the cover back in the day. But that trilogy box that you have there, Cody, that's such a cool collectible item. I would love to take that off your hands. This set is worth like what? Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I will gladly take that from you. It's probably because it's still technically worthless. Because these days, I'm pretty sure even if you try to put those CDs in to install, I don't think it's going to do anything. It's just a collector's item. But I'm still upset with my parents for throwing away like our original trilogy box, because I had that and like the first 3 or 4 expansions, like all in their custom little box art. And like the World of Warcraft, the Lich King, like the display thing for the Lich King, whenever that sold way back in the day, it's like a giant box that GameStop used to have. I had one of those as well. Because like whenever we went to Cataclysm to get Cataclysm for World of Warcraft back in like 2010 on release, that was the one that like Morris's girlfriend got the box and then gave it to me. I had that for like 13 years or something. Yes, it was very nice. It was still in good shape too. Like it was still like in box shape and all of it was thrown out. We're actually getting some pretty good stuff here, too. Maybe if we hang later today, I'll bring you Windows disk and this EQ disk. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I gotta get some exercise in anyways, so that would be perfect time. Okay, so we got pretty much the best stuff that we can from these guys. Belt of the Destroyer. Bow of the Destroyer. Someone's character is going to get the hookup. A 25-pound belt. You just got loot for a whole new Twink. Exactly. That's why I do this content like at least like once a month. I try to do it every week because there's some stuff that is super rare. Like especially the stuff that Vulak airdrops. Some of it is very uncommon. Like the robes that Vulak airdrops that's good for clerics and any of the intellect casters. Yeah, all of this stuff can be used from level 1. Yeah, it's pretty much all usable at level 1. The only stuff that drops in this zone that is like level required is some of the weapons, from my understanding, from Vulak Air, like the Rogue Dagger, it's level 55. I think the two-handed sword is level 55, but otherwise all these weapons are like level 1 usable. And we have almost a full bag of it. So like, really cool one-hand slash weapon, damage 11, delay 17, level 1 usable. This Dragon Red Club, it's like damage 12, fire damage 1, and delay 17. Like one of the very few weapons in the game that ever drop with less than 18 delay. Level 1 usable. Super good. Thanks for the prime, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you. We still got to get some gaming here in a little bit. I'm just having a pretty good stream. Say my name, Heretic. Thank you. That is Mike, indeed, yeah. Thanks for that prime sub, man. I appreciate it. And the wild, it is. Goodbye, Freeport rats and whatnot. Yes, exactly. No, I'm not real. We missed a dragon somewhere. We missed a dragon somewhere around here. But yeah, Mike, we got to get some Overwatch here in a little bit. Good, because, hey, fuck you, Cody. Drag on, haha. I get the reference. These are important dragons, man. This is really good content from 20 years ago. I need you to respect the authority that these dragons bring to the gaming table. But yeah, Overwatch and Darktide is still very much on the menu for me here in a little bit. I'm just here to vibe to that sweet running animation. Hey, these running animations from 1999 are fantastic, thank you. I mean, look at the quality of these graphics, sir. What is not to love? Look at those eyes. They will stare at your soul. If they can find it. Yes, exactly. Respect the graphics from 99, man. Alright, here's the big boy. This is the guy that we're here for. Thrilling fight, I know. Alright, see what he dropped. Oh, gross, you poor... Okay, so we got some pretty good stuff here still. Oh, look, he dropped the monk hand-to-hand item. This is another item that has a level requirement on it, so it's not usable at level 1, but this is still a really, really cool item. And it's got a really cool custom graphic, too. Because all the other monk items in this game almost always glowed like red, but this one glows blue. That's a cool graphic. Let's see if it'll show it. Oh, this one shows red now too. I just lied to you guys, my bad. It used to be blue, I think. Look at that. Quality graphics. Alright, so that loot was worth it, for sure. So now we got lots of stuff that we can use on a level 1 character. You love the Epic 1.0 and 2.0 graphic? Yeah. I think that one's yellow, and then eventually it has like a ton of different like flowing graphics around it. Yep. So that was Temple of Veeshan. We've done Temple of Veeshan, Avatar of War, and Dain Frostreaver. So pretty much the important characters of the Valius expansion. Like I said, Toon Air would just take way too damn long. So I guess we could actually go back to what we were doing beforehand. Sleeper's Tomb for the old other Twink loots. Okay, we can do that. Let's do it just because. I always forget about Sleeper's Tomb for actually like content because it's such a really cool area, but all of that stuff is level required. So it's never something that I hit on a regular basis. I'll just hit it when I really want to get like a dose of nostalgia because it's a cool environment, but everything there is like level required 55. And by the time you're 55 these days, there are much better loot options to pick from. But it is still a very cool environment. And one thing that I do like, it's really cool because otherwise you can pretty much never see what the old Carafirm's lair looked like. There's an event that comes around once or twice a year called Dragons. And in it, you actually get taken to the original Carafirm's lair. So you can fight the original warders as well. And it has Sleeper just chilling there in the center. That's I think I've done a couple videos for that on my YouTube channel where I actually show the whole event for Dragons. And every time I get to Sleeper's Tomb, I always just sit there and geek out for a little bit because it's so cool. Because I never got to see the original Sleeper's Tomb because that was before my time. I started between Valius and Luckland dropping, so by the time I was even high enough level, Plains of Power was already out. So I didn't even do any Valius raiding, any Luckland raiding, I just leveled and then started raiding in Plains of Power. So it's cool to get to geek out a little bit whenever I'm going through that event and I get to see the level, like the old school, like level 66 dragons. The old school Carafirm warders. But it is cool because that event does end with you fighting. You end up fighting a version of Carafirm called Carafirm the Awakened, which is that's a level 90 dragon version of him in one of the later expansions. You raided Vexthal? No, I never did Vexthal back in the day. Vexthal was something that I ended up doing much later on. I didn't actually ever fight Rallos Zek, the final boss there. I didn't ever actually end up fighting her. I got that on recording for the first time back in like 2020, I think. That's the first time I ever did Attenhall Raw. Be happy. You're not the only person to tell me that. Pretty much everybody I talk to that has done Vexthal basically considers it to be a bad experience. Maybe not bad, but just a very frustrating experience. Which is funny because I remember hearing that like one developer made that raid within like a week. He was basically just told, okay, make this raid, and he had like a week to do it. And so it was like one very sadistic dude that was like, okay, so whenever you kill an enemy, he also spawns another enemy. How fun is that going to be, right? Oh, and every door is locked and you're stuck in these small little corridors. That's fun, right? Every raid could take 2 days. That sounds about right. Not to mention, if you tried to skip some of the enemies, you ran into the enemies that banished you back to zone line, right? Sounds like someone who liked Tomb of Annihilation and Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, considering most of the developers were huge D&D nerds, that wouldn't surprise me. Almost every single person that raided or that like was a developer for EverQuest was a huge Dungeons and Dragons nerd. And stand with your back to the wrong wall, you could pull mobs from another area. Yep. That doesn't surprise me. Oh, we're about to go to Sleeper's Tomb. As much as, I don't really like this area because I don't really get anything worthwhile from it, it's still such a cool raid to go through. One of the first EverQuest videos I ever watched on YouTube, back whenever YouTube was like in its infancy, was a video of like some German like industrial music playing in the background. Then it was somebody recording their raid guild going through Carafirm's lair. It was like this whole Master of the Guard event. It was like a music video back whenever YouTube was known for people making custom music videos. So it was like this industrial German band on top of like a Sleeper's Tomb video. That's a big boy. I remember that video. The band was Wumpscut. Yep, sure was. I'm pretty sure it was one of the guilds that was back in farming like Carafirm's lair before they even unlocked the Sleeper as well. He's not big, you're small. I mean, you're very right. Here, let me show you for reference. This is how much bigger we are next to him in Sarnak. So we're still only up to his kneecap, and this is like the biggest illusion I have. But Cinny, it's actually funny to have somebody else remember that video too, because I don't think it was like a hugely widely known video either. That's kind of awesome that you know what that is. The sad thing is, because I started this event now, those sentries are going to attack me from anywhere in the zone now. Until I kill them, they're just going to keep running after me. Even if I escape and then I start attacking another enemy, they're going to come running at me from anywhere in the zone. And these guys I kill because another dude ends up spawning here. You have to kill all these guys up here, and it will spawn the Overseer. Yeah. Let's see here, what avatar weapons we got. We got a two-hander. And I get that the whole appeal for these weapons was the fact that you could put avatar on yourself. It's cool. I just wish that a level 1 could use them. Yeah, these guys are just going to keep running at me here. Even if I escape, I'm going to disappear for just a moment. And we're going to run over here. And as soon as I attack this next boss over here in the corner, they're going to start running at me again. Ooh. We're at least going to get a one-hand blunt and a one-hand sword. A level 1 with full North Temple of Veeshan gear and avatar. So my the stream that I streamed on Monday was me playing as a level 1 Shadow Knight with fully decked out North Temple of Veeshan gear and Lord Inquisitor Saryrn gear, so all like the Luckland gear. A level 1 Shadow Knight, I had about 6,000 hit points. So I was consistently soloing stuff that's like 10 levels higher than me, and I just got him to level 50 this morning. That's something else I'll probably end up having to stream at some point, because I love getting a character just really, really decked out and twinked out, and then just seeing how ridiculous he is. Because I took him, like I leveled him in like Inithul Swamp to like level 6 or something like that, and then I moved over to Guck. So I started at Upper Guck and I leveled up from like 1 to, I want to say like 44, all the way from like level 7 to level 44 in Upper Guck and then Lower Guck. Just because it was such a good spot to level. Nice. One of my guildmates just got the achievement for 50,000 AAs. Got more than me. Ooh, this guy. See, this is the cool graphic. It's the alternate version to the old Spectre graphics. Instead of having a giant scythe, he has a giant axe. This is another illusion I really wish I could get. My cleric is at 54,525. Jesus. Do you melee at all with your cleric, or are you basically just like a strict healer? Because cleric is what I have like the least amount of experience with these days. I remember at some point clerics were going like pretty hardcore on like being like melee paladins. You heal and nuke. Gotcha. Are clerics still like really good undead nukers, or are you basically just like full-on magic nukers now? Because I can imagine there are too many undead. Oh, really? That's good to know. Ooh, that's a big boy. All right, it's about to be dragon time. Let's see what else we got here. We got the ancient prismatic sword and mace. Just not much undead in new expansion. Yeah, that's why I really didn't think that you'd have too many undead spells, but I guess if they're sticking with the class base, then they're undead nukers. Which is kind of surprising, because the whole last expansion, Terror of Luckland, almost everything was vampires, wasn't it? It was very undead. Because I know they were continuing the Mayung Mistmore storyline. Yep. Speaking of Mayung Mistmore, one of my all-time favorite EverQuest characters. Was a Cleric Paradise? That's what I thought. Yeah, so we're pretty much going to let most of this stuff rot, aside from the weapons. The gear itself isn't really going to do us much good, but the weapons will at least have for gimmicks on a regular character. No, I'm too small to... Oh, there we go. Open... There we go. Alright, so... I'm not going to worry about this little Drake here. I know he spawns like 3 other things after him, but there's not much of a point. We're just going to skip right past him. Oh, he's holding a sword. Probably going to be a two-hander, judging from the look of it. One thing I will say about these guys is they just have so few hit points. They die so easy. Oh, so we can't even get anything from him. All right. The 4 big important dragons of the expansion, or at least the ancient version of them. I remember one of these dragons has a really wicked slow. Makes the fight take forever if you don't kill him immediately. Any dragon mask or dwarf mask? See, like this would be a great chess piece, but it's required level or recommended level 55, so it's not really going to do a level 1 any good. These guys drop a lot of stuff, just not much of it's going to be of any use. Get Vendi BP for a level 1. Vindication is alright, but the best level 1 chess piece is either going to be the Yttrium chess piece from Lord Inquisitor Saryrn, or Breastplate of Eradication. Vindication's good because it's got 100 hit points on it, but it doesn't have the stats on it like Eradication does. But the Breastplate of Vindication is still pretty good for level 1. It's still got good AC and good hit points on it. But the real chess piece that you want is probably the Yttrium stuff. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Even spelling it wrong. Let's see here. 60, warrior, slot, chest, and stat. Heavy, yeah, here we go, this one. This is the one that you really want for a level 1. This is what I have on my Shadow Knight at level 1. Because you got the HP regeneration, you got the attack, and you've got 125 across the board. And then the 20 stats. And as you can see, they kind of sell for ridiculous prices because of that. You've got some realistic prices around 500,000 platinum, but these dorks up here selling their stuff for 2 million, yeah, they're never going to sell that. But this stuff from Lord Inquisitor Saryrn and Lucklin, this is the good stuff right here. Never seen that one. Where is it from? It's from Lord Inquisitor Saryrn. It's the guy that has this this sword graphic as his weapon. He drops the Yttrium pieces that are like, he's got the chest piece, arms, he's got the boots with Spirit of Wolf clicky on them. He's got the torque, which you can use as like a wrist or a ring, I think. He also drops mounts. Yes, he does. I have lots of his mounts. Him and Emperor Sra. I farm both of them specifically for their mounts, because even to this day, they are still one of the fastest speed mounts you can get in the game. they're one of the very few mounts that still have a description of mount speed very fast. Let's see here. I've got one somewhere. They're still very unique. Right here. The black ornate chain brittle and the white ornate chain brittle. I can't remember which one is which. I think the black one is from Saru and the white one's from Sra. But they're still mount speed very fast, so they're still just as fast as the in-game very fast mounts. The only thing that EverQuest ended up adding that made certain mounts unique, aside from graphics, is that some of them give buffs. There are some mounts that give drastically improved stats. Oh, did we kill them all already? Any maskers? No, we didn't get a single dwarf mask. That's kind of rude. Got the brawl stick though. We got a two-hander. Gonna take that. I like the graphic for this shield though. I think that's pretty cool. And this shield for Paladins and Shadow Knights, super unique looking. Never mind. I thought it was more unique than that. Just kidding. Both of these look the same actually. Classic, exactly. So, yeah, no dwarf mask. That's kind of lame. Looks like a chamois shield. Yeah, kinda. Alright, so that was Sleeper's Tomb. Basically, yeah, all the Valius content that's really worthwhile then. I think it's time that we're going to actually go to Plane of Time. We haven't done Plane of Earth B stuff with like the tribal member. I can't remember what they're called. The Wraith Council. That's what I was thinking of. The Wraith Council. We haven't hit those yet, but we'll probably go back to those. So, what else do we want to do here for our illusion? No, I don't have the key for Zegany, sadly. Zegany is the one that, like, I don't have the key to get to her actual island. So that's something that's, like, still on the docket that I'm gonna have to go through and do at some point. Because pretty much all the keying that used to be required has been removed, but for some strange reason, that's still something that's required. Is to get to Zegany's island, you still have to have the key for that, which is very strange in my opinion, but... Alright. Don't you need a drop from each avatar? You do, yes. And to get the, that is like one thing that you need, but another step in that is to actually go through and fight all of the, like mini bosses up to Zegany, which I haven't done that either. It's a really weird keying situation. You need to drop from each avatar, and you also need to kill all of her mini bosses to get a key to get to her island. So the whole first part to Plane of Time is very slow paced. Like tier 1 and tier 2 in Plane of Time is kind of slow. Yeah, it can take a while. But this whole first tier is like, the first 2 tiers are very time locked for Plane of Time. So regardless of how fast I kill these things, it takes a little bit. We don't really get to the bosses, the gods of Plane of Time until tier 4. And that usually takes like 30 minutes. It's kind of frustrating because of how long it can take, but that's just EverQuest. Things that have never been updated. Because events these days seem to be based off of how fast you kill stuff. But in this case, it's time gated. Nothing ever been fast in EverQuest. You are very correct. And each one of these things I kill, and then I have to teleport out. I have to do all 5 of the tier 1s, I have to do them separate. So I'll go in, beat up the boss in that zone, teleport back out, run back to it, kill the next boss. You can tell that they never really expected anybody to be coming through and soloing this content because it's not solo friendly. I guess there is an easy way that I can kind of glitch, which I'll show you guys next. One thing that it's still funny is because if anybody remembers back in the day with old school graphics, if you were ever shrunk, or if you were riding on a mount and you ran into a wall, you could see through things and sometimes use that to shimmy yourself through locked areas. To counter that, they added a glitch. They added something that teleports you out of areas. So whenever you're in these rooms and you're locked behind these locked doors in the tier 1 areas of Plane of Time, if I ride my mount directly into the locked wall, it will teleport me out to the graveyard, and I can use that to run back and forth without having to use gate potions. But that's how they did it to counteract people who could just run through the locked areas and kind of circumvent the events themselves. So rather than fixing glitches and time gating things, they just added another glitch, which is kind of classic EverQuest, if you ask me. It's like the easiest way to speed run something in EverQuest. I mean, if speedrunning is even a term that you can use in EverQuest. And now we just wait for the next boss to spawn. This is what I meant by this kind of time gated. And this whole second tier that we have to go through after this, whenever the tiers, the certain trials start to merge into each other, that's super time gated, which is kind of frustrating. Come on, buddy. Okay, so watch this. No, that's not what we wanted. That's the wrong mount, damn it. Here we go. And there we go. And it teleports us out because we tried to circumvent the little barrier there. Hooray, EverQuest glitches. and I don't have to gate out at all. All right, next up is over here. Yeah. That was something I didn't learn until recently. I was streaming a couple years ago when I was streaming pretty hardcore, and somebody came into the chat and told me that because I was bringing my druid in, and I was just teleporting out whichever character I was in there with. I was just using my druid over and over again. And they were like, dude, that's just so slow. You don't have to bring another character in there. If you truly want to solo it, just ride your mount directly at the wall until it teleports you out. Because why not? All right, let's be... be an XR for a little bit, I guess. And one of the worst sitting animations in the entire game. It looks like my XR is taking a crap. I still don't know. I think it had to have been because the tail, that they thought that it was going to look more natural this way. But this is literally like the squatting position. Oh my god, stop summoning me. All right, another one bites the dust. Let's ride into the wall and teleport out again. I'm really hopeful there's a couple weapons that will drop. One being there is a song blade for bards that drops from Anarok that's still very pretty profitable to sell. That one's still a pretty good weapon to sell these days. And I'm also really excited for, I know I said it earlier, but I'm excited for the Fabled content to come back, because those are all like level 75 items, which are kind of rare because it only comes around once a year, and you can sell that stuff for really good money. I'll typically make enough platinum within like the month of April and May because of the Fabled content. I'll typically make enough platinum in that time frame to fund my characters for 3 or 4 months, which is nice. Fabled's come. Thanks for the sub, Cody. Thank you. Fabled's come during anniversary time. No, yeah. So the anniversary event is typically March, April, and May. Excuse me. Thanks again, Cody. I appreciate it, man. I know you normally use your sub on retro gamers. But yeah, so the anniversary usually starts in March. And for like the first whole month of the anniversary, it's just like experience bonuses and stuff like that. And the old school anniversary quest. And then like from April 12th, usually like May 12th or something like that, they have like a whole month of Fabled events. And that's usually when I have the most fun, because I use March as like a great time for content as far as like leveling characters, like maybe hitting some old school stuff I don't normally do. I got an email with it saying $1 charge went to a PayPal cash receipts. What the hell? It's not for me, man. I didn't charge you an extra $1. I promise it wasn't me. My channel doesn't charge extra for Prime. 100%, man. You got to be careful with that. I wonder why it would do that. I wonder if it did the same thing to Mike earlier whenever he resubbed. Because I know the Prime stuff is still free and they haven't changed anything through Amazon from what I've heard. Because I feel like I would have had streamers complaining about that if it cost them extra. I didn't use Prime. Oh, you resub. Oh, thank you. Oh, you sure did. Maybe it was just like a regular charge. I wonder why it would even like charge $1 instead of the regular $5 anyways. I don't know, man. If you can retract that, I'd recommend it. Thank you for the sub, though. I appreciate it. If you can pull it back because it costs like a random extra charge, that sounds fishy as fuck. Yeah, trying to figure it out. Gotcha. Let me know, man. Because that's, like I said, that's not something I've heard of before. I know whenever I usually like regular sub to channels, I get like a notification of like a receipt from Twitch on it. It tells me what the cost was, but I've never seen a PayPal amount of an extra $1. Sweet. Okay, so tier 1 is done. This is where it gets to the kind of annoying, like long-term, like time-gated thing. You can't really see it because of my Spotify blocking it on my screen here, but like I love the whole text. Could have been an email that tried to trick me into clicking it, but I'll let you know. Gotcha. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know what that could be, man. That sounds like some really fishy stuff, though. Alright, so since this whole event right here is time gated, I'm going to teleport myself out and go to the undead area, because the undead area isn't really time gated, but the two tier 1s that merge into the tier 2s, like the water and fire, or the water and earth and the fire and air, those two trial events are time gated by like a 15-minute time period, and they take a really long time to go through, but they go through their scripts whether or not someone's there, so it doesn't matter if I'm just sitting there waiting for it or not. So I'm going to go over to one of the other areas, let it run through that script, and then I'll be back to that area. Alright, here we go. Here are the undead dudes. Nice, okay. All right, so let's go over to the fire area. Okay, so these guys should be good to attack, or at least some of them. Nice. Can they attack yet? Okay, so this event doesn't have too much longer. They've just got another couple minutes to run through their little script, and then they'll start attacking me as well. So this is pretty much, like I said, the only downtime that we really have of this part of the raid. Most of the time, we can just blaze through it, like especially once we get to the tier 3 area, which is like the huge crowd of enemies. That's all based off how fast I can kill stuff. But this little script right here, with the fire and air and the water and earth area, like it's just time gated. But the good news is once we're done with these and we go straight to tier 3 stuff from there, that's when it's just gonna blaze through super quick. We'll get straight to killing Burtox, Anarok, Terris-Thule. We could see all the old school classic graphics. Terris-Thule still has this really cool old blob graphic. And we get to go through like one of my favorite events in the whole game, which is Quarm, whenever the 4 elementals make the giant 4-headed dragon. Such a cool event. Was super hard back in POP? Yeah, it was. Quarm was insane because I think he's level 80 and the level cap was level 65. I remember it was hard enough. Ooh, how are we stuck? Where? What? It was super hard, but I remember it also spawned like the really, really, really difficult expansion. Gates of Discord, because I remember people said it was hard, but it wasn't hard enough. So the developers gave us Gates of Discord, which was so difficult that it made people quit the game. Because the what was the current end game guild, Afterlife, I don't know if any of y'all remember Afterlife back in the day. They were one of the first guilds that moved to World of Warcraft, but Afterlife even couldn't beat them. That was a whole thing. Afterlife Township. Oh. Gates wasn't the one that was with Anguish. No, Gates of Discord was right before Anguish. Gates of Discord was whenever, because it was still level 65 locked content, but it was so overtuned because everything was level 80. I remember the first boss in TAC V, Seed of the Slaver, the final zone raid back then. The first boss in that zone hit so hard it would like quad hit for like 3,500 a hit, and tanks didn't even have that much HP at the time. So like it was so overtuned that people couldn't make it past the first boss in the zone. And even Afterlife at the time, I think they made it like 2 or 3 fights in, but they couldn't beat it. They actually had to nerf the whole raid. But Anguish is what came with Omens of War when the level cap finally increased. And then it actually it kind of trivialized. It kind of trivialized TAC V at that point. But yeah, Gates of Discord was just ridiculously overtuned. It was fun to watch from the sidelines, but it was not fun to try to get through that content. Anguish, another zone you need a stupid key for. Yep, you are correct. You had to go through and do all of the Miramite trials. I still feel like that was quicker than Planes of Power keying. It wasn't as bad, but it was still pretty bad. But that also introduced one of my favorite zones in the game. Riftseeker Sanctum. Riftseekers, I still have a really good time leveling in these days. Anytime I get a group of characters around level 69 or 70, I always love taking them to Riftseeker Sanctum. Nice. We're finally unlocking tier 3, so now we just get to start blazing through this stuff. Good thing that was once you hit Citadel of Anguish raid and killed bosses, you could backflag with that key dropping in there. Yep, because that was after they introduced backflagging, like from the Plane of Time stuff, which was really cool. Once they finally introduced backflagging, like the Miramite trials and stuff like that, really wasn't too bad. Why do I keep getting stuck on things here? There's some weird geometry going on in this game. But eventually, they got rid of backflagging for almost the entirety. Now they have like the piggyback rule, which is like the 80-20. For every 80% of flagged people you have, you can bring in a 20% people who aren't flagged. At least I think that's still the rule. And that's like for any of the raids going forward. Who doesn't love whenever things summon? Tanks and healers don't love it? Exactly. I absolutely despise summoning. It's so annoying, especially these days, because like my thorns that I have like on my character at all times, everything gets hit with thorns for like 5,000 damage, which is always just enough to make sure that anything that hits you can start summoning you, which is really frustrating in these areas. So if anything hits me just once, like suddenly they can start summoning me because I've done enough damage with my thorns. And I like these graphics. It's funny because some of these guys have the old school graphics and some of them have the new graphics whenever you have it turned on. Ooh. Plane of Hate. Yep. Good old Plane of Hate. These hobgoblins were terrifying from Plane of Nightmare. Those things were definitely nightmare fuel. And then we got the fucking tentacle things over here from Saryrn. Ugh. Just a couple more things and we can move on to the actual gods. Supernatural Guardian. Haven't even stopped to see what loot we got here. Oh, the Necromancer Clicky with the Embracing Darkness. That's good. Dagger of Distraction. That's pretty damn good too. Oh, yep. This really cool shield. Still looks really cool in my opinion. Yeah, look at all these back flags that we dropped. The phased time quintessence. It's good stuff. Alright, now these are the people we're here for. I'm hoping that all of these guys I can get like cool footage of me just killing them all in one hit, because they're all low enough level and they're all humanoid, so I can assassinate them. So with any luck, we'll get to assassinate these guys and kill them all in one hit. Oh, so Saryrn didn't die in a single hit. So we got to beat her mechanics. Oh, the Time's Antithesis, this Shaman Clicky. This thing, even on like TLPs these days, still sells for a really pretty penny. Like when I was playing on Mischief last May, that Clicky, the Time's Antithesis for Shamans, sells so good. People selling those for like a chrono. Alright, let's get at least... Okay, well, she didn't die in a single hit, but pretty damn close. Come on, where's all the fun assassinates at? Orb of Clinging Death. Really cool druid clicky with Swarming Death on it. So now my Twink characters will have enough gear to make it from 1 to 65. And when they hit 65, they'll have some really good gear waiting for them. A really good thing to do is to run Plane of Time and Takvi both, because both of them drop really good level 65 gear. Because whatever doesn't drop from Takvi that's good, you can drop from Plane of Time that's in different slots. It usually kind of makes your character pretty decked out for level 65. Ooh. Okay, that was a really strange... He He was like doing something and then died. I think I killed him in the middle of one of his mechanics. Oops. That fight for Rallos Zek during the Fabled event is really annoying because one of his things that he does, if anybody doesn't remember the mechanics for him, he causes one person randomly to feign death. And if you're the only person on his target table, he'll cause you to feign death. And whenever Fabled enemies have nobody on their target table, they instantly regenerate back to 100% hit points. So when I was trying to solo this during the Fabled event, that fight caused me like a 30-minute struggle at one point because I wasn't doing enough damage to kill him outright. I would get him down to like 30%, and he would cause me to feign death and instantly regenerate back up to 100% hit points. I'm glad I deleted the clip, but I'm pretty sure at one point it was me just like cussing repeatedly because I couldn't kill him fast enough. And he just kept regenerating to full immediately every time he caused me to feign death. It was ridiculous. Okay. We're still getting some pretty good stuff here. No weapons like I want yet, though. Aside from the Times Antithesis, but I don't really run Shaman, so that's not going to help me. Open, there we go. All right, and this, I really like to pull all of these groups of enemies all at once. And you just get to kill a big choo-choo train. Are we? All right, they're all grouped up. Let's go. Easy peasy. And this is the Terris-Thule graphic that we wanted to see earlier. With his old blob self. It's still a shame that they replaced his graphic in his actual plane, in the Plane of Fear, but at least we still got the classic version of him here. These guys, we normally get at least one critical assassinate, and we get to kill him in a single hit. But not today, it looks like. What did he drop? Ooh. Wand of Impenetrable Force. Okay, so good clicky, but not for any of the classes that I want. Alright. Bertox is up next. Drops one of the coolest looking weapons in his original plane, the Plane of Disease, or I guess the Crypt of Decay, technically, Plane of Disease B. He drops like the green glowing fist hammer, which I think is really cool. One of my favorite graphics in the game. And a cool death animation to boot. Oh, cool. Okay. So a really cool ranger weapon. So between this sword that he drops, and there is a whip that drops in Plane of Earth, rangers can actually summon 2 pets at a single time. It's really, really cool because one comes in, like the whip summons a wolf pet, and this summons a air elemental pet. They're not the best damage delay ratio, but the fact that they can both summon pets is really cool. It's really unique. Ranger. And one of the first pet boosting books with Minion of Eternity that makes your summoned pet or animated servants better. Used to sell for pretty insane DKP back in the day. Alright. And the man himself, Rallos Zek. which we beat up at the very start of the stream in Plane of Tactics. Another dude just doesn't want to die in a single hit. Hoping he dropped his weapon. He did not, but he dropped a cool shield. Look at that. A really cool shield graphic from back in the day. Shield of Strife. The fabled version of the Shield of Strife is still one of my favorite shields to use on a level 75 Shadow Knight. Number one, because it looks cool. But it's got the Furious Bash ability on it. Makes it's really good for bashing enemies. Get that extra aggro from using your bash when you're one-handing. And I'm hoping he drops either the Song Blade or the Rogue Dagger. Damn. We didn't kill a single one of these dudes in a single assassinate. It's kind of lame. And he didn't drop either weapon. This is rigged. Rude, rude, rude. Alright, well, next up, the game does hate me. It does. It's because I've done this content too many times, I guess. Next up is the big dragon. But yeah, this is gonna wrap it up. This is gonna be our final big boss that we're gonna kill. Such a big ass graphic here. Oh, we almost killed him in a single hit. Nice. A single backstab, we brought him down to about 23%. Prismatic Ring, Shroud of Eternity, and Timeless Silk Robes. So we got some of the best stuff that we could from him, but we didn't get like a single viable weapon for this run through. That's a shame. We didn't get the cool Cleric Hammer. We didn't get Hammer of the Time Weaver. Well, that is going to wrap it up here, guys. I'm going to hop out. Thanks for everybody who stopped by, for the chatting, for the follows, for the subs. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out. It's a pretty good Saturday morning. Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely going to do it for now, guys. Thanks again. I will see you guys. I might be streaming again tomorrow morning. We might stream not again until next Saturday, but we'll see. But thanks for everybody for stopping by and saying hey or watching.